Hello and welcome to Easter weekend footy, Good Friday footy from the nation's capital. It's hopefully a new tradition building here in the NEAFL. Of course, these two sides met on Good Friday last year in a season opener, and it's on again for the Canberra Demons and the Southport Sharks. My name is Chris Coleman at Phillip Oval, and alongside me, Eddie Williams. Good morning for the next couple of minutes, Eddie.
Chris, good morning to you, and a big weekend of football in Canberra. Of course, tomorrow, Easter Saturday at Manuka Oval, with the Dockers coming to town to take on the GWS Giants. But today we're here at Phillip Oval. The Canberra Demons looking for their first win at this newly redeveloped venue. They played their last few home games here last season, weren't able to pick up a win, so they're looking to get on the board at Phillip Oval this afternoon, and they'll be looking for a big game out of Mitch Maguire, the only player to poll MVP votes for the Demons in last week's disappointing loss to Redland, a 60-point loss for the Demons last week after a win over the Gold Coast a week earlier. And Mitch Maguire, along with his teammate Angus Baker, both identified as possible players to be picked up in the AFL's mid-season draft this year, Chris.
Indeed, and there'll be one of them on the other side of the equation as well, that being Mackenzie Willis for the Southport Sharks, who we'll see in action a bit later on this afternoon. Apologies for my microphone suddenly going very quiet. We got that sorted? We're good to go. Let's have a look at the Canberra Demons lineup this afternoon. And really what they need, Eddie, is performances right up the middle of the ground, and from goal line to goal line it looks good. Pake, House, Smout, Fall, Canash. So that's a good lineup for the Canberra side, right up the middle. And returning to them this week in the ruck is Maynard, who was unavailable last week, and I think we can safely say, off the back of that scoreline, sorely missed last week as well.
Yeah, I think that's right, and we often say, Chris, that the ruck is a challenge for the Canberra Demons, because week in, week out, they're facing top-quality ruckmen, often AFL standard ruckmen, and today Josh Maynard comes up against Jed Turner from the Sharks, and a debutant for the Demons today, Billy Clark, coming into the side, making his debut, a GWS Giants Academy product.
You'll spot him out there in number 32.
He's very skinny.
He's a very skinny player, and yes, you'll spot him out there in number 32 for the Canberra Demons. For the Southport Sharks, who are you looking at for this afternoon, Ed?
Matt Shaw leads the NEAFL MVP at the moment. Chris, he polled the maximum 10 votes last week in the Sharks' narrow win over Aspley. Southport undefeated, but inaccurate last week. 8 goals, 21 they kicked against Aspley. So Southport, the reigning premier, looking for 3 wins in a row to start the season. It is a very high-quality side. A lot of players who have spent time on AFL lists: Matt Shaw, Seb Tape, Mackenzie Willis, Brodie Murdoch, former St Kilda player. This is a top-quality Southport side that has arrived in Canberra today to take on the Demons, and it's a challenge for a young Demons side to go up against an opponent with such a quality squad. And last season, Southport did comfortably beat the Canberra Demons in both matches that they played.
They did. One of those was the season opener last year, with Easter being considerably earlier last year than this year. It was a season opener, even though it was a round 2 fixture, and it did start things off very nicely for Southport, of course, in what turned out to be pretty much a landmark year for them, 2018. It's about 19 degrees here. There is not a great deal of wind blowing. If you're wondering, just to get yourself oriented, the southern end of the ground is to the right of your screen. That is the Woden end, and the other end we rather creatively title the northern end to the left of your screen, and we're just about underway in the middle of the ground. Eddie Williams to start us off this afternoon at Phillip Oval.
Interesting to see Alex Pake going to full forward for the Canberra Demons. Spent most of last season at fullback as Maynard prepares to go up in ruck against Turner. It comes down the way of Boston for Southport. He's tackled. Maguire with an opportunity, can't quite run onto the ball. So we've got a pack around the play in the middle of the ground. Spills to Angus Baker for Canberra. He kicks the ball forward. It'll bounce on its way through inside 50. Getting back is Brodie Murdoch for Southport, and they'll look to run the ball out of defence. Fife gives the hand pass off. They'll use that outer side of the ground here, the Sharks. They might have come unstuck, although Ford manages to get a handle on the ball briefly. It's turned over now, though. Chance for the Demons to go back inside 50. Pake not able to get to the contest, and Southport to run the ball off halfback.
They bring it around to the grandstand side of Phillip Oval, and Mackenzie Willis gets his first touch for the afternoon. Then they come around further to the stand side door and tries to get hold of it. Can't do it. There's 3 Demons players here. If they're smart, they'll make something out of this. Moline leaves it, gets it onto Canash. Canash puts the ball into full forward, waiting for it at the fall of the ball's fall. Little hand pass goes over to Hardy. Hardy comes in. Pack forms over the top. Should be a ball up about 12 metres out from the Demons' goal. Should have been a much better result from Canberra. Canberra there. They really didn't use the ball effectively into the forward line, but it's still there waiting for it to fall. There is Bruce as well. He's on the goal side, tap down, perhaps won by Paik actually in there. Still waiting for something to happen with it, but again, another pack form. Umpire giving the ball time to come out. Maguire in over the top, can't do anything, and the umpire comes in and he'll take further possession of the pill this afternoon, just a couple of metres outside the goal square, Canberra. And the snap comes, and it's across the face of goal. So the quick snap off the bounce and off the ball up, and the Demons take the lead. 1-0. 90 seconds gone here at Phillip Oval.
So Southport to bring the ball back into play, going to the left of your screen in this first quarter, the Sharks. An accurate kick in finds Jewell in the back pocket. So Samuel Jewell, he'll just drive the ball long towards the wing position. Baker's in best position and he takes a nice grab for the Demons. So a strong start to this match by Canberra, most of the time being spent in Canberra's forward half of the ground. Baker chips it to Hardy. Hardy goes with a long kick into the pocket. It's in the direction of Paik, falls at the back. The ball doesn't get to either of them. Southport will get it away through Fife. Fife throws the ball on the boot. It's out in the direction of Shears, knocked away from him by Klemke, the playing coach for the Demons. As Canberra, through Hardy, get the ball back inside 50 again, but again, an ill-directed kick. So the Demons with plenty of possession early, but just not able to find targets when they go inside 50. And Southport able to run the footy out of defence again. They'll kick it towards our broadcast side of the ground. They've gone to a 1-on-2. Highmore was in front for the Demons, couldn't mark, recovered well to lay a good tackle, and then Baker comes in with a strong tackle as well. So we'll have a ball up inside the centre square, slightly the Canberra Demons forward half the ground.
Umpires this afternoon, Matt Bagent in 2, Aaron Langdon in 24, Sam Nipris in 9. The boundary umpires, Matt Thompson, Ben Feely and Liam Cashin, and it's Dale Purin and Kiara Brody in the goals this afternoon. Ball going towards the southern goal now. Tom Fall, well, we talked about him earlier. He'll back himself any chance he gets, but can't get to the ball this time. Hand pass comes though from Pollock, back over the head, tapped away by Miller for the Southport Sharks, and again they rebound out of defence. Ball has come free, but there might be... Yes, the umpire has said it's come free illegally, so it'll be a free kick to the Demons. Now, the interesting part will be who takes the shot. There were several players in contention for it. It looks like Hardy has the pill. And this one, he should be okay. He's about 40 out when he kicks. Pretty well directly in front. As I mentioned, there's very little breeze this afternoon. This oval surrounded by trees as well, which gives you a little bit of a masking effect here. One thing we have seen from Canberra, and indeed most teams, kicking to this southern end in games at this ground so far. It has been a little bit hard to get the radar on, but that one looks pretty good from Hardy. There's no Kel Evans to get him confused with this week, Eddie, and it's Hardy with the first major for the afternoon, and the Demons go to 1-1-7. Southport yet to score here at Phillip Oval.
Well, great forward pressure there by Mitch Hardy, and fantastic reward for effort by the Canberra Demons. They've controlled possession so far in this match, weren't able to make the most of their first few inside 50s. But that time, and they rely on those pressure forwards, those smaller forwards. They don't have, and we often talk about it, Chris, they don't have, a big Tony Lockett, Jonathan Brown, Tex Walker inside 50 to take the marks and kick 6 goals. They're reliant on these medium-sized forwards like Mitch Hardy to apply that pressure and to get the Demons on the scoreboard. And they take a 7-point lead as we tick over 4.5 minutes in the first quarter.
There'll be a lot of hurt in this Canberra side too after losing to Redlands last week, a game that they really would have had marked down pre-season as a likely win. So that you expect to see them really go hard at the ball. But first attacking foray for Southport. The ball punched away from Dale, and Baker chasing after it for Canberra. It's out into the wide open spaces now. Klemke looks for it. Now he's calling for a deliberate kick out of bounds. Umpire says no business on that. And we have a very happy spectator over that side who I expect is going to get plenty of the ball this afternoon to retrieve it, although a few more people, a couple sitting in the shade of the grandstand as well, of the scoreboard rather. There's plenty over on this side, on the grandstand side. Klemke into the ruck, and the ball tapped down by him to no great advantage. Ball goes into the ground, and it'll be another ball up for the umpire, as you can see, just outside the 50-metre circle. First NEAFL game here at Phillip for 2019, as... the pack forms, and we get another ball up. And plenty of junior footy played here already so far this season. If you're wondering why there are some worn spots, and in the middle of the ground, the cricket pitch area as well, still recovering from a fairly heavy season of cricket use. Waiting for the ball to come free here at the moment. as we've got more traffic on Phillip Oval than we do up the main street of Canberra at the moment. The light rail system opening here in the nation's capital this weekend as well, and for many people that's been a 3-year journey of construction works. So we're kind of used to congestion here in Canberra. Ball comes free, and I think it might have been Murdoch who puts the Sharks inside their forward 50. Now it's Dale. He gets it on, has a teammate on his inside the big punch of the air. As we see Charles Ford, I think it might be, who's kicked a goal. First goal of the day for Southport, and they're now just behind by 1 point.
And again, fantastic run and carry by Southport, and that forward pressure, and both goals we've seen so far, created by a bit of pressure. And the small forward there, Charles Ford, able to get on the scoreboard. We dubbed a couple of weeks back, Chris, Crossley from the Gold Coast as a bit of a cult figure. Well, perhaps Charles Ford with the headband on today could be another cult figure for the Southport Sharks. So they move within 1 point of the Demons. It's Canberra 1-1-7, leading Southport 1-6 as Josh Maynard gets ready to go up in ruck again against Jed Turner. Maynard, a triple premiership player with Ainsley, joining the Canberra Demons for the first time this season. This is his second match. He was unavailable last week. Southport will get a clear centre clearance. It came through Ruse. Ruse goes with the kick inside 50. It'll be chopped off. Cade Klemke is sitting back in the hole. He takes the mark. He's got options on the broadcast side of the ground. He finds Owen Orban, who takes the mark in front of Doran. He's got Vardaniger on short, or he's got Maynard a little longer than that in front of the interchange bench. He goes towards Maynard. There are 4 Sharks who got there to cover. Ford flips the hand pass out to Shaw. Shaw gives it off to Ruse. Ruse is tackled. His hand pass is smothered by Maynard, and will have a boundary throw-in right in front of our broadcast position here at Phillip Oval, also known as Footy Park, and the new hub for local footy and cricket here in the ACT. We had the local cricket finals played here only a few weeks ago. So it'll be Maynard again, up in ruck against Turner. Comes down towards Maguire, but he couldn't get a handle on it. It's socked forward by Maynard. Umpire said no 15. Fall laid a tackle. It came out to Powell. Powell gave it off to Maguire. Now a high ball, Hardy underneath it. Can't complete the mark. Owen Orban takes it over the boundary line. I
tell you what, it's impressive to see the Demons in numbers at the ball all over the ground here. They're going to need to do it all day long. We commented on it a couple of weeks ago, of course, against the Gold Coast Suns here in at Ainsley in their first game of the season, and certainly a change in playing style for the Demons for season 2019. Ball goes up in the air, and probably Maynard gets the best of it. Tap down towards Owen Orban. Owen Orban looking for Pake in the forward line, but there's too many Southport Sharks players. Picked up off the ground by Jewell. They go backwards to go forwards now, and the ball returns up to the centre wing. Bit of push and shove as the two 18s go at each other. Ball comes free, then I think it might have been Shaw who was taken to the ground. No, it wasn't. It was Dale who was taken to the ground. Ball comes though towards Osborne. Osborne puts the Demons into attack. No one able to take the mark. It might be Powell in there. Tries to do something with it, but they can't do a lot at the moment. And again, the Southport Sharks resolute in defence. And it's with Fife. Has a free man on the boundary. And that was Hall, but the ball, well, it winds up with him off the pack. And then he puts a hand pass into the path of Osborne. Osborne turns around. He's given it there to Baker. Baker quickly onto Hardy, and Hardy, the ball's been turned over once again, and the Southport Sharks, they come up with a hand pass from Willis. Willis now to Dale. Dale turns around. He has coming through on the inside Shears. Shears puts the ball in towards the forward 50. There's been a push in the back, and so this will be coming back.
Downfield. No, it's a downfield free, so it looks like Southport will get the ball at the top of the goal square.
It'll be too easy for them from there. So Kai Shears was the man who was on the charge. Didn't see who it was who gave away the free kick, but the free kick will be a shot from directly in front. And after the Canberra Demons have probably had the best of the first 8 or 9 minutes, it'll be Southport to wind up with the lead here, you would imagine, Eddie, because they don't come much easier than this.
And great end-to-end play there by Southport. Really attractive footy when they move the ball like that.
Very, very easy shot on goal. And yeah, too simple. Southport go to 2 goals 12, Canberra 1-1-7. That's courtesy of Jamison Shea. The second goal for the Sharks this afternoon.
The Demons have probably been dominant through this first 10 minutes of the game, but they just fall down with that final kick inside 50. The kicks have been poorly directed. They haven't had the leads coming forward. Southport has been able to chop off the kicks inside 50 too easily, and there they were able to rebound from 50, get the ball inside their 50, and that free kick downfield leading to the goal to Jamison Shea. So 2 straight 12 Southport, the Demons 1-1-7. It'll be Paik this time in ruck for Canberra up against Turner. Turner knocks it down to Manteet. But good play by Paik. He recovers well. He's not the best tap ruckman, but he certainly throws his body around when he gets into the middle. Ball comes out to Turner. He gave the hand pass forward. Manteet kicks Southport inside 50 again. This will be a shot on goal here to Shaw, but he's sprayed it out to the right. So one behind to Southport. They tick up to 2-1-13. The Demons 1-1-7.
11 and a half gone here in the nation's capital. And Canberra, let's hope they haven't used all their capital early. Ball comes back into play. The target is Paik, so he's about the busiest man out there. Gets the mark fairly well unopposed, about 55 out from goal. Can turn, has on the run Bruce. Bruce just unable to get to it, but roving off the back of the pack is Pollock. Pollock just kicks the ball into a very, very vacant 50-metre forward area. Jack O'Shea picks it up for the Southport side. Then it's on to Clark. Clark turns, works it around the boundary. Shaw the target, but it's over his head and picked up by Bruce. Bruce needs to take his time and allow a couple of teammates to get down the ground. Had Maguire in short, but instead bombs it long. Fall waiting at the bottom. It's 3-on-1. No one grabs it. Manteet probably the best, but he's immediately set upon and brought to ground. It'll be a ball up, about 25 out now from the goal's southern end of the ground. Canberra looking to level it back up again after having had an early lead. They've coughed it up, and the Sharks leading 13-7. Ball tapped down by Paik towards the boundary line, and a clearing kick comes from the Southport Sharks. Only out as far as their 50. Dale, the best man positioned for it, can't control it. Picked up off the ground by Baker for the Demons. Then it's with Pollock. Pollock turns it back around looking for the hot spot. It goes towards Richardson. He's under hot pressure. Comes back to Highmore. Highmore with the long bomb and a mark taken easily in the teeth of goal. Southport play on quickly. Shaw now able to go for a run. Goes for a few steps. Bumped off it just as he kicks. Canberra, well, they could have got it through Bruce, but instead it's back to Southport again, around on the outside. Winds up with Hall. Hall can't take it. 3-on-1 for the Canberra side, but kicked clear by Ford. Nobody in particular in his range or on his radar, and it's picked up by Highmore. Highmore goes backwards to go forwards, and he finds Bud for the Demons. Bud turns around and gives the ball to Billy Clark on debut.
11 inside 50s to 4 for the Canberra Demons to start this match, yet they've had only 2 shots on goal compared to Southport's 3 as they switch play to the outer side of the ground. Pollock runs onto the ball, gives it back to Bud. Bud will give it back to Pollock. Pollock is corralled, feeds it back to Bud, so they're waxing off the half-back flank. Bud goes towards Helse, who takes the mark defensive side of the wing. And this is just where it has started to fall down a little for the Canberra Demons. These last couple of kicks to get inside 50. They've moved it into the middle of the ground. Richardson will take the mark. Thought about playing on by hand, decides to go back. Directs traffic. Goes with a mid-distance kick, so the 12th inside 50 for the Demons. Kanash flew high. Paik knocked it down, but again, Southport able to crumb the footy and work it out of defence. Bit of body work there from Shea, but couldn't complete the mark. Spills down the Demons' way. Maguire to Moline. Moline goes for a bit of a run. Off the right foot. Inside 50. He's got a man on his own.
Oh, good play.
And Jared Osborne takes the mark, and he'll have a shot on goal.
Osborne had been calling for it on the last couple of forward excursions by the Canberra Demons. And Moline spotting him, going with the angled kick across. And by some miracle, Osborne had managed to keep himself in some space. Not the easiest of shots, but again, we've seen harder.
Better vision from that time going forward for the Canberra Demons. They need some reward for effort from their inside 50s this quarter. Jared Osborne, left foot kick from just outside 50. He's hung it out to the left. The Demons 1-2-8, trailing Southport 2-1-13.
Changes galore for the Demons as Smout and Klemke and I think it's Maynard come back on. A couple of players going off, including Powell and Billy Clark having a rest. As the Southport side look to work the ball back into the middle of the ground. Ball is dropped. Could have gone short to Jewell. Instead, going for a bit of a run there was Fife, and Fife sends the ball over the far side of the ground, but it only gets as far as the Demons, who are able to get away once again via Roberts. Roberts looking inside the forward 50. Can't quite get it there. I think it might have been Hardy who's picked it up. Ball, though, is again cut off inside the forward 50 by Fields for the Sharks. Ball contested over on the far side of the ground. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4 Southport Demons players up against 1 from Southport. So Canberra have decided that they want to own the midfield here today, and that usually works out fairly well if you can do so. Owen Auburn now, just outside 50, outside his range, bombs it long, it goes across to the left. Hardy was waiting for it, Fall was coming across for it, ball goes over the boundary line and it'll be a throw-in to take place not far from the Canberra Demons goal. Been a fast game here. I don't know whether they'll be able to keep this pace up. I suppose Southport are used to the warmer temperatures, and it hasn't quite cooled down here in Canberra yet. The tradition here in Canberra is, of course, you don't turn your heating on until Anzac Day, so this will be our last weekend of heater-free footy. Ball coming back into play at the southern end of the ground.
Pake up in ruck against Turner. Turner knocked it down from the back. It comes to Hardy. He's brought to ground. Umpire hovers. He's going to ping him for holding the ball. So a free kick against Mitch Hardy, and Southport again will be able to work the ball out of defence. The Demons, they'll just be ruining missed opportunities when they get the ball forward. Roos has the ball in defence. Bit of a fumble here, picked up by Murdoch. Southport under a lot of pressure. Good tackle by Tom Fall. Demons fans wanted holding the ball, nothing doing. And Southport continue to hand pass the ball out of defence. They're often running here on the broadcast wing. Low mark taken by Hall. Hall wheels around onto the right foot. It's a 2-on-2 contest inside 50. And it's a mark to the best player in the NEAFL at the moment, Matt Shaw.
You called it a 2-on-2 contest. In the end, it was no contest. Shaw read the ball better and was able to take that. I don't know whether the champion data guys will call it contested or uncontested. I would certainly go for the uncontested variety there. He did it far too easily. And just showing at the moment why he leads at this early stage of the season, the NEAFL MVP awards.
Polled all 10 votes, or the maximum 10 votes in the Sharks' win over Aspley last week. Matt Shaw, he'll kick from about 45. Makes the goal umpire do a little bit of work, but he's put it through, and Southport have their third. They're 3-1-19. The Demons 1-2-8.
Disturbing signs for the Canberra Demons here that the Southport side are showing again just how many avenues they have to goal. The goals coming so far from Shaw and Ford and Jamison Shea. And really, they've all been very, very different the way they've attacked that play as well. So the Southport side, plenty of ways up forward. Canberra, well, they just need one additional target, probably about 40 out, to give themselves a bit better chance to convert those forward 50s to scoring opportunities. Southport 3-1-19, Canberra 1-2-8, approaching time on. 18 minutes, in fact, just ticks up on the board as the umpire brings the ball back into the middle of Phillip Oval. Gets set for the bounce. Maynard back into the ruck. Positioned himself better. Didn't get a hand on the ball, but picks it up off the turf, but it only goes as far as Manteet. Manteet sends the ball around into the attacking line now for Southport. And Manteet started the game in the long sleeves. He's given up on that. It's obviously too warm for him, and he's gone to the short jersey. If it's not players changing boots mid-game, it's changing jerseys mid-game, Eddie. What's going on here? Ball going into attack for the Canberra side. Waiting under it is Kanash, but it's cleared him. There were too many jerseys of white there. Waiting on his own over this side of the ground for Southport was Doran, and they could have gone for him and gone in space, but instead they work it up again up the far side of the ground. Good grab. Good grab for the Canberra Demons.
50 metres.
And a 50-metre penalty as well. Didn't see what the penalty was for. Did you pick that, Eddie?
Might have just been encroaching on that protected area, I reckon, Chris, and that'll bring the co-vice captain Tom Highmore within scoring range.
I don't know how good a kick he'll be. He's going to be able to come in off the fast bowler's run up here. See how far back he is. He's just adjacent to the square. The man on the mark standing 40, 42 metres out.
For Southport, Chris.
Yes, he is. Maybe not that Mitch Johnson, but Highmore it'll be taking the shot. Haven't seen him take too many shots at goal, so I'll see what he's got. He'll be kicking from 45 out on about a 20-degree angle. Actually kicks from just inside 50. Not bad looking kick. Well, that's how you do it. He'll take the video of that and show it to his teammates at training during the course of the week and say, that's how you do it. That's how you score goals at the southern end of Phillip Oval. And for the Canberra Demons, it's their second goal of the afternoon. They move on to 2 goals, 2 behinds, 14, and they're just 5 points adrift of the Southport Sharks, 3-1-19. This game, I think, is shaping up as a very, very interesting affair this afternoon. And
the positive for the Canberra Demons is that they've had 16 inside 50s to 5. Now, they haven't been able to put that dominance on the scoreboard, but if they keep getting that weight of inside 50s, eventually you start to hit the scoreboard. And a bit lucky there with a 50-metre penalty, but you take the goals any way you can get them. And Tom Highmore, who was named in the forward line earlier in the season, named in the back pocket today, but we'll expect to see him used forward, back, and at times in the midfield. As Maynard goes up in ruck, couldn't win the head out, but the Demons will get the clearance. The ball is kicked in the fall direction, knocked away from him. It comes out to Willis for Southport. He can't quite pick it up. Powell is in there as well. The ball comes free to Smout. Smout hooks it inside 50, and taking the mark on the lead is Alex Pake. And he'll go back to try and kick Canberra's second goal in the space of a minute.
That was good urgent football there from Canberra. Pake managed to break free just at the right time, was tempted, you could see there when he took the mark, was tempted to play on, had the look over the shoulder and stopped and got himself set. I think he realised he was in a pretty good position for a set shot here, but that was good play, straight out of the middle, no mucking around.
Alex Pake, left foot kick, keeps it pretty low and puts it through, and the Demons are in front. They're 3-2-20, Southport 3-1-19, and good quick play there from Alex Smout. Got the ball on the boot straight away, didn't wait for the Southport defenders to get set, and that led to that goal from Alex Pake.
The Demons take a 1-point lead, and we are into time on. I can't give you any further indications. The clock on the scoreboard is rather helpfully reset to 0 at the 20-minute mark.
It says it's 1:45, Chris.
And yes, it's already it's got an advance of things, but play continuing, and we're into time on here at Phillip Oval.
About 21 minutes gone, I reckon.
As long as the numbers are as long as the numbers stay right, we're okay. Well, the Pake goal officially 21 minutes and 17 seconds. Ball up in the middle of the ground and tap down one by the Sharks. It goes towards Ford. And then the tackle is laid and the ball is wrapped up in underneath. It was actually Boston, not Ford. And Boston, actually, no, I was going to say Boston may be going into the ruck, which would have been interesting. Instead, it's the Demons who come away with it. Bruce gets it onto the outside. Wayward hand pass is just hung onto by Maguire. He manages to get a kick away. Plenty of players around it for the Demons. Umpire rather conveniently obscuring our view, has called a push in the back, and it'll be going to the Southport side, and that'll be Boston. So he's been busy on this passage of play. Looks across to the centre circle. Had a teammate there, elected not to go there instead. Goes further over the other side of the ground. And that might be Ruse over there. Just goes for the short pass as the Demons are looking to man up inside the forward 50. As a result, the Sharks have a few extra players free outside the forward 50. Who's the target going to be? Looks like Shea, but instead it's been cut off once again by the Canberra side, and they rebound now through Powell. It's a quick hand pass and another quick hand pass onto Richardson. Richardson kicks to, I was going to say to the advantage of a teammate, but coming in very quickly to lay the tackle was that Willis and Miller both going in at once? It was. And so absolutely flattened underneath it was Riley Budd, and he's limping just a little bit and he's going to come off. I think it was already a predetermined rotation, which may be why he was in this part of the ground. Ball back in play. It's Hall for the Southport Sharks who's grabbed the ball, but the umpire is going to ball that up again just outside the centre square, near the interchange gates at Phillip Oval. And
he got crunched there before Riley Budd, but good play to make sure it was a stalemate and to earn a stoppage for the Demons. Excellent smother there by Smout, but the ball came back to Boston. Now it's off to Manteet, who fires the hand pass back to Clark. Clark goes into the corridor, and it's marked low down by O'Shea. O'Shea quickly gets the ball moving on to Doran, who takes the mark on the wing. He goes into the centre square and finds O'Shea. We've got a Shea and an O'Shea in the Southport side this afternoon, as Fields takes the mark on centre wing, and Southport just looking to absorb a bit of pressure late in the quarter. He chips it back to Jack O'Shea. O'Shea's got a man on his own in tape, but the ball might be cut off by Pake. Pake got a hand on it. Tom Falls running forward. The Demons work the ball inside 50. It's picked up there by Kanash, who gives it to Fall. Fall with the left foot, snap, puts it through. The Demons have 4 for the quarter. Tom Fall gets his first. And Canberra tick over to 4-2-26.
A little bit of composure shown by the Demons there, and Tom Fall, smart move, deciding to get out of the pack that was starting to form there, and in the hope that a teammate could get onto it. He had just enough time to get himself set. He was being put under pressure for the kick as well. But good work by the Canberra Demons, and now they're starting to look just a little bit more comfortable. And as you talked about before, Eddie, weight of possession. You keep getting it inside the forward 50. If you keep doing it, eventually the other side's going to give up some possession, some goals, and that's the 4th for the quarter for the Canberra Demons. They're up by 7. About 5 minutes into time on in the first quarter.
Turnovers are a killer in footy, and the Demons last week conceded 66 points to turnovers.
Ouch.
In their 10-goal loss to Redland, but scoring a goal from a turnover that time. Canberra get them all moving forward again. Bruce with a good spoil the Sharks have numbers around the ball and they are able to get it over the boundary line in front of the cricket centre. So the Demons pushing for a late goal. We've played about 25 minutes in this first quarter. Canberra holding a 7-point lead as Paik prepares to go up in ruck. He's the secondary ruckman behind Josh Maynard in the Canberra side today. Paik and Turner. Turner in front. Paik ended up getting his way to the front and palming it down, but it came to Boston. He was dispossessed. Bruce lays a tackle, comes out to Fife for Southport. He gives it off to Tape, and Tape with a high ball. It's in the direction of Shea. He can't take the mark, but he recovers all right on the ground. Weight of numbers might win out for the Demons. Highmore trying to burst his way through. The ball comes out to Ford. I think the umpire's paid a throw, and it will be a Canberra Demons free kick. So another opportunity for the Demons to get the ball moving forward late in this first quarter. Tom Highmore, who took a very nice defensive grab a couple of minutes ago, he just pops it up to the top of the goal square. Who's going to fly? It's fisted away. Fall gets a hand on it. It comes out Southport's way. Hardy with a touch on the footy as well. Good tackle by Kanash and holding the ball. So a free kick to Adam Kanash, and he can have a look at his first goal in the NEAFL.
He's got a pretty ordinary angle here, but this is the Canberra Demons. They're really making a statement here this afternoon. They're working not just getting the ball inside the forward 50, but actually, if they can't score with it, keeping it inside the forward 50. And that's the other thing. A lot of these forward 50 encroaches for the Demons, they've been lengthy. There's a really difficult kick comes up from Kanash right in the forward pocket.
He goes with the drop punt rather than the banana, and it was a pretty good effort. But he's hit the right-hand goalpost. He pretty much started in the cricket centre there, Adam Kanash. Interesting that he didn't try the J-curve or the check side kick there, as the Demons move up to 4-3-27. Southport 3-1-19.
Well, if you can kick them straight, you may as well kick them straight. Southport bring the ball around the grandstand side at Phillip Oval, but it's only as far as that man Highmore. That's another strong defensive mark from this man who's having a pretty decent day already. He's too far out to score, but he's got plenty of options, as everyone from both sides is now inside the right-hand half of the field, the southern half of the field here at Phillip Oval. So a wee bit of congestion about to arrive here as we get into about the 28-minute mark of this first quarter. A goal here would be really important for the Canberra side.
What happened to 6-6-6? It's 0-0-36.
A few players are going to run up a few Ks if there is indeed a goal come out of this one. Murdoch gets the best of it for the Sharks, but ball under very much hot contest, as we see it come down towards Moline. Moline bombs it in towards the goal square. And the mark taken deep in defence by Reece Clark for the Southport Sharks. He has to wait a moment to reset because there was nobody outside the 50-metre circle. Comes around the camera side. Waiting for it to fall was Moline for the Demons. Baker got the best of it. Couple of players spoil each other. Maynard was one of them. Ball comes back now for Smout. Smout puts a little chip in. Did that go 15? Only just, but it only needs to be just. And the Canberra side, they're going to have a shot on goal. And I reckon this one might be just a little bit easier for Adam Kanash.
And again, it's that quick play, and it was Alex Smout with an important kick in there. Came back into the side last week for his first game of the season. And let's see if Adam Kanash can make this one count.
Well, he can kick straight. He's already shown that. And this time he kicks it. Well, it's a little bit wobbly. The goal umpire moves across to the right. Kiara Brody fires both guns, and Adam Kanash, courtesy of the Lucas Moline assist, gets himself into the scorebook. And now it's a 5-goal quarter for the Canberra Demons. 5-3-33 to Southport 3-1-19.
One of a handful of club debutants so far this season, Adam Kanash, and good to see him getting on the scoreboard, and he's been applying a bit of pressure in the forward line today as well. Tom Highmore has been very important for the Demons in the past few minutes. Some really crucial intercept marks. Check
some stats at quarter time thanks to Champion Data. To Canberra now getting up to an acceptable ratio of scoring off their inside 50s, and also keeping the opposition inside 50s low. Ball down in the middle of the ground, or up in the middle of the ground, and running through at pace was Owen Orban. Puts it down towards Fall. Fall can't do much with it, and the ball goes free. Rebound for the Southport Sharks, picked up by Shears eventually, well, only as far as a pack that forms, and now coming through at speed was Highmore. Plenty of courage shown by him, and he's still involved in it, but there's 3 or 4 other players in the pack there. I think Manteet's one of them at the bottom of it. In over the top is Fife. Plenty of push and shove, plenty of feeling here this afternoon as well. Can't be long left in this first quarter now, and the Demons would love another one. Southport would love to just peg it back, but there goes the siren, and at quarter time it'll be the Canberra Demons 5-3-33, the Southport Sharks 3-1-19. A fascinating first quarter here at Phillip Oval, Eddie.
You get the impression that the Canberra Demons were pretty stung by that 10-goal loss to Redland last week, a match they probably would have thought they could win. Comments during the week that their skill level was not up to NEAFL standard. Comments that perhaps they'd gotten a bit ahead of themselves after beating the Gold Coast Suns in round one. Well, the Demons, with a pretty emphatic response in this first quarter, putting on 5 goals to 3. And we mentioned Tom Highmore there, Chris. 6 disposals, 4 marks, 3 inside 50s and a goal for the quarter. Good leadership from one of their co-vice captains.
Well, that's what they need. 10 disposals for Baker, 6 for Highmore, 6 for Smout, 6 for Pollock, 5 for Osborne. They're the leaders for the home side. For the visitors, it's Shaw has 9, Fife has 8, Murdoch 7, Ruse 6, and Miller has 5 for this afternoon as well. But at quarter time, it is the home side. Well, they were a little bit wasteful early, but they've managed to make the advantage of the inside forward 50s in the end. And is that 24-6? Is that right? That is 24-6 for the inside 50s. That's quite a sizable weight of possession, and overall, especially when you look at the overall kick count, which is, well, the overall disposal count, which is actually won by Southport, 87-85.
But a lot of those disposals were hand passes and short kicks inside the defensive 50 when earlier on the Demons weren't using the ball as well. But as we said, weight of numbers generally wins out in the end, and the Demons eventually getting 5 goals on the scoreboard in that quarter. Southport able to hurt them on the turnaround, only 6 inside 50s, and they've kicked 3 goals won. So they've been efficient, the Sharks, when they've gone forward. They just need to get the ball going forward a bit more in the second quarter.
One other quick stat that I'm sure Cade Klemke, being a proficient tackler himself, will be very happy to see, that is the tackle count. The Demons laying 19 tackles in that first quarter to just 9 from Southport, so that will make the playing coach just a little bit happy when he sees that one on the stats sheet a bit later on. Second quarter not too far away, but right now the Demons leading at quarter time, 5-3-33 to 3-1-19 on NEAFL TV.
quarter time at Phillip Oval, and it's the Canberra Demons holding a 14-point lead over the reigning premiers, the Southport Sharks. Canberra 5-3-33, Southport 3-1-19, and they did it without too much influence from their star midfielder Mitch Maguire. Only 2 disposals, both kicks in that quarter, so they'll be pleased with a more even spread of contributors in that first term, the Canberra Demons. Eddie Williams and Chris Coleman with you on NEAFL TV. It was foggy earlier in the day in Canberra, Chris, but you wouldn't know it now. Beautiful bright sunshine and blue skies as we get ready for the second term to begin.
Fairly typical of the weather in the nation's capital this time of year. We'll get the cool starts, but the day's usually pretty good. We'll just see if we can get an update on the temperature. We have 19, make it 21 degrees actually, there we go. And with just the gentlest of breezes, the magic temperature box tells me that it feels like a 20-degree day outside. Of course, where we're calling from, we have the luxury of air conditioning, so I think it's a beautiful 23 degrees all year round.
I think it's what we would describe as perfect conditions for football.
Absolutely.
As the Demons kicking to the left of your screen, to the northern end of the ground in this quarter, the Sharks kicking to the right, to the Woden end. It'll be Maynard up against Turner, resuming their battle in the ruck. The umpire bounces the ball. Maynard flew high, probably won the tap. There's that man Maguire, gets his third kick of the afternoon. Kicks it inside 50, it's over the head of Paik. Tape tracks it back for Southport. He feeds the hand pass off, he gets it back, Seb Tape. Tries to sell a bit of candy, has to feed a hand pass right back to fullback, and it's run through for a rush behind. Good forward pressure again from the Demons. They move up to 5-4-34 and extend their lead to 15.
The Demons, as we've said, been running at the ball in numbers all day. Going for a run now is Fields, taking advantage of the new rules for 2019, able to get a little bit of extra distance before he takes the kick. Doran was the target there. Ball being competed for, and it's Maguire who finally gets it for the Canberra Demons, just shows his class, puts the afterburners on, and now they turn around, and wham bam, they're up at the centre half forward with Owen Orban. Connor Owen Orban.
I think he's going to have a shot.
He's decided he wants to have a crack. Well, this will be interesting. Has he got the 55-metre roost on him, or is he trying to suck in his opponent?
It was a nice mark, and he's had good clean hands today, Connor Owen Orban, so let's see how he goes by foot.
Kicking it straight over the head of Andrew Boston. What does he have? Owen Orban kicking from just outside the centre square. That will not make the distance. It's going to fall a good 10 metres short. But now we know exactly how far he can kick the ball. The Demons have picked it up. Comes out towards Kanash. But there's too many white jerseys there, and the Southport Sharks are on their way. Jamison Shea was the target. Ball goes over him again. Gee, they kicked a number over the target today. That winds up with Highmore. Puts the ball back in towards the centre square. Taken by Maynard. Maynard finds Bud. Bud then goes into the forward 50. 2-on-1. Ball taken off the back of the pack in the end. Taken by Sam Jewell for the Southport Sharks. And they rebound in defence again.
Looks like they'll use the outer side of the ground this time, the Sharks, as the kick ends up with Fife. Not sure he was the intended target, but he landed in his lap. He called his teammate out of it, and Fife has the ball. Not the only Fife we'll see playing footy in Canberra this weekend. Nat Fife back in the Fremantle side to take on the Giants at Manuka Oval tomorrow. Another turnover. The Demons won back the ball, but only briefly. They've turned it over now, and a chance for Southport to hurt them on the counter-attack. The hand pass comes forward to Willis. Willis crosses the 50, puts it towards goal. He starts it out left. It's not going to come back. So a behind there for Southport, letting the Demons off the hook. 3-2-20, the Sharks. Canberra are 5-4-34 as Klemke goes with a long kick in, and Bud takes the mark on the chest. Bud pokes it short. And the Demons also using this outer side of the ground. A healthy crowd here for Good Friday footy. Most of them on this broadcast side of the ground, sitting underneath our commentary position. Klemke gets the ball back, and they switch now to the broadcast side. Highmore takes the mark. He ducks back inboard with a kick that was low, and it was marked well by Angus Baker. He was put under a bit of pressure there. Baker chips it to Klemke, getting up plenty of disposals so far in this quarter. His kick wasn't great. It does eventually get its way to a teammate, but good pressure from Southport. They lock the ball up, and we will have a ball up. It's in the corridor. The Sharks forward half of the ground. They trail by 14 points. Good
tackle by Murdoch. No prior opportunity, so good call from the umpire for the ball up, and the ball actually goes up and down but without being touched. Now for the Sharks, it comes away through Willis. Willis puts it inside 50, comes off the hands of Doran, and the Demons on the rebound now. There's plenty of space here and plenty of time for Pollock, but he couldn't get there. Ball goes instead to Fields, and Fields rebounds for the Sharks. They're back inside the forward 50, waiting for it underneath it. is Kai Shears, and Shears, best positioned, gets the mark just inside 50, so we really are going backwards and forwards at speed.
And we said earlier, Chris, that turnovers really hurt you at this level of football, and already we've seen that in this quarter. A lot of turnovers. It's a high-paced, high-pressure game, and the Demons will be disappointed if a turnover costs them a goal here.
It's not the easiest of kicks for Shears. There's not much wind, but he's on a very acute angle. The slight stutter on the run-up goes for the right foot, and it started right and stayed right, and it's through for yet another point. And we have a 2-goal game now. Southport will move on to 3-4-22. The Canberra Demons 5-4-34. They already given that as a point. They were very, very quick with the scoreboard, I think. 3-3-21 to 5-4-34. So I credited an extra one. It's a little bit of danger for the Demons as they go in short, but Maguire has it under control. Calling for it is Vardaniga. Instead it goes past him. Paik was the man who got best hand on it. Then Kanash. Ball goes to Smout, and it's touched off the boot of Smout and goes out of bounds. Interchange gates, grandstand side.
It'll be thrown in right in front of our broadcast position here at Phillip Oval. And the Sharks were kicking very accurately in their warm-up. They were inaccurate last week. 8 goals, 21 against Aspley, including 7 behinds in the third quarter. They'll be hoping that a couple of inaccurate kicks in this quarter aren't a signal of more things to come, as Smout gets over the ball, drags it back in, tries to knock it back out again. It comes to Maguire. He's wrapped up by 2 Sharks, and we'll have another stoppage. It'll be thrown up between wing and half forward for Southport, probably playing a tighter game in this second quarter as they try and work their way back into the contest. It was one down by Maynard. Comes out towards Powell. He put his head over the ball. Couldn't really pick it up cleanly in the end. It came out there to Roos. He manages to knock it forward. Roos with a good tap to Boston. Boston goes with a high tumbling ball. Helps is in best position, but missed it in the end. Bud is waiting back for the Demons. Hands it to Klemke. Klemke off and running. Kicks to Roberts. Roberts takes the overhead mark. Goes back. Hands it off quickly to Powell. Powell kicks through the corridor. It was meant for Hardy. He slipped over. He might still be able to get into it, but the Sharks get there with numbers, and Hall fed the hand pass out. Came out the back there to Miller. Sharks under pressure here. They managed to hang on to the ball. Shaw, his hand pass is into no one in particular. It's intercepted by Bruce, who gave it to Osborne. Osborne just blazes away with a kick inside 50. Clark should be able to get there. He does. He goes for a run, a raking left foot kick. Gets the Sharks out of immediate trouble as they work the ball into the middle. Richardson probably could have marked it there for Canberra. Wasn't able to. House goes in hard. Now Fife picks it up for Southport. Flicks the hand pass out. The Sharks with an open forward line. They'll get a shot on goal, and it'll bounce through. So the Sharks have their first of this second quarter. Their 4th for the match. They're 4-3-27.
Good opportunistic football from Matt Doran. He's got a man down injured in back play, so he's gone back to check on his teammate there. But, we talked about it a couple of times. The turnovers are going to be expensive in this level of the game. And Canberra there, the kick into the forward 50 was just sprayed in there. There was no, I don't know whether there'd been any look up ahead to see who was potentially on for it. The only man who was within Cooey when it landed was Reece Clark, and it had gone down there, and it floated a little bit, and it gave the Sharks time to just get themselves set. They worked it very, very quickly around the outer side, but it's a 7-point ball game. Canberra 5-4-34, Southport 4-3-27, 7.5 gone in this second quarter. Won't be panic stations for the Demons yet, but we've seen them have a couple of quiet quarters after a good quarter in recent years, and they're looking to maintain the scoreboard momentum, and they get the ball from the middle by Maguire. Maguire goes with a stab pass to the top of the 50 arc. And no one willing to take the shot. Powell instead puts the ball up towards Fall. Fall takes a good grab. Now, has he got that in the goal square or just out? We'll wait for the umpire's verdict.
He's conceded a free. It's a Southport free.
He's given away the free. So there must have been a bit of a push in there before the ball got there. So Southport, they try and clear the ball. This could be dangerous. It spills off hands and goes over the boundary line. Good pressure from Jared Osborne on Mackenzie Willis. So Canberra, they'll be looking to get the ball back and get the score that they may feel a little bit robbed of. Ball comes back into the play now, right on the 50-metre arc. The ruckman wait. It clears the contest. Paik tried to break to get after it. Manteet gets a little stab in there. Now it breaks free, and it's with Jamison Shea. Shea, short ball. Finds a teammate in Johnson. Almost as much ink as his Test cricket playing counterpart. But it's cut off by Highmore, and Highmore with a short ball. Now they've got plenty of options here, Canberra, long or short. Probably would have been better to go long. Richardson put under pressure. Now has to wait for it to come back out from the bottom of the pack, and it does do so. It might have been Doran who got a better of it, but it's still hot potato. Owen Orban comes back to help out in defence. It comes back to Doran again for his third touch in a matter of moments. They're going backwards, though, the Southport Sharks, is with Jack O'Shea. He bombs it long, inside forward 50. Two Canberra players could have taken the mark. Neither of them do. Ball comes free. Jamison O'Shea gets it across to Shaw, and Shaw, under absolutely no pressure, muffs it. I should have got a goal there. He had plenty more time to take it, but instead it's a one-goal game now. Canberra 5-4, Southport 4-4, 9.5 gone, second quarter.
And 1-3 so far in this quarter from Southport, and the three behinds haven't necessarily been difficult shots, so they want to improve their accuracy as the match goes on. Tom Highmore gave it off to Smout, and Highmore plenty of intercept marks again in this quarter. Bud now with the footy on the half-back flank. Gives it off to the running Vardaniga. Vardaniga pokes it towards Maynard. It goes over his head. Carr is there for the Demons trying to track it back, but the Sharks get there with numbers. There were three Sharks. They got it out to Shaw. Shaw's hand pass is turned over. So now the Demons moving it forward again. Carr kicks it inside 50. Vardaniga is in best position, or should I say Kanash. Was Kanash there that time for the Demons? Still applying the pressure. He, in the end, grabbed his opponent when he didn't have the ball, and so it'll be a Southport free kick here. It'll go the way... who's that there, Chris? That's
that would be Ford.
Ford. Charles Ford kicked a goal earlier in the match. He just chips it short to Mantate. Mantate gives it off quickly, and the Sharks are off and running. One bounce. Now the hand pass comes out to Shears. Shears with the left foot kick. Demons with numbers. Bud was in a good position. Highmore dropped the intercept mark that time. It spilt to Bud. Tried to give it to Richardson. In the end, it comes out to Hall. Hall with the left foot kick. It's in the direction of Doran. It bounces away from him and over the boundary line, and we'll have a boundary throw-in. Forward pocket for the Sharks, and we mentioned that Mitch Maguire was quiet in the first quarter, only 2 disposals. He's already added another 4 disposals through the first 11 minutes of this second quarter.
The Southport side have turned up the intensity and has certainly looked the better side through this second quarter. Maynard gets a first tap and a second tap, and now they come away with it, do the Demons. There's plenty of players around the wing on the far side. The target may have been Hardy. He gets behind, and once again, there's too many Southport players. I think that was Tate putting the ball in towards centre half forward, and Willis, who's come up the ground, gets underneath it and takes a comfortable mark. He's another of these players being talked about as a prospective mid-season rookie replacement draft player for the AFL. Have they given him an official draft name, that mid-season draft?
I think it's just called the AFL mid-season draft. He's getting plenty of the footy, Mackenzie Willis, coming up for disposal number 9, and spent some time on the Gold Coast Suns list, so looking to get back into the AFL system.
Starts it off to the left, and it stays off to the left, and Southport, they're kicking woes to this southern end of the ground, which is the end they warmed up to earlier today, and they were kicking them well in the warm-up. But they're kicking away to that southern end of the ground continue, and they are now just 5 points behind the home side, who are yet to add a major this quarter. That's Hardy. Now there's plenty of time for players to flood forward here, fall in short, but Maguire can't do much with it. Instead, he gets the ball back. Now he's got up at full forward, he's got Pake. Pake flies. But the umpire says you didn't have control of it as it goes over the boundary line, and it'll be a throw-in, not far from the scoreboard. Northern end of Phillip Oval, 5-4-34. Southport, 4-5-29. And 13 minutes about to tick over here. All back into play. Pake into the ruck. Taps it down with both hands, but it's only as far as Southport. They're roving the ball well off the packs now, and they've got numbers here. Charging into it will be Shears. Shears holds onto his footing under big pressure, finds Williams. Williams then gives the ball off to Ruse. Ruse round the boundary line. Has Jamison Shea. Shea could have gone for a long run. Instead goes for the long bomb. There's plenty of Demons players back in there, and a good mark taken in defence by Highmore. They turn around and continue to rebound here. End-to-end stuff coming up at Phillip. Bruce in the middle, can pause and does so. Now goes on the outside Butt again? No. It's another teammate in the orange. I think it might have been Smout. They send the ball in towards forward, and it's with Pollock. Pollock can't control. Picked up off the ground by the Sharks through Tape. Then it's on to Turner. Turner, short ball, finds Willis. Willis, centre wing. Far side of the ground, goes for the short ball. Was that 15? Umpire says no, it wasn't. Play on, and it comes off hands and goes in for a throw-in front of the Canberra Demons side on the far side of Phillip Oval.
So we get a boundary throw-in, and we commented last season, Chris, that that was the only sign on that far side of the oval. Plenty of room to put up a few more signs there, I reckon, as the season goes on. Kanash going up in ruck this time for the Demons, a new player in their side this year, recruited from the Swans Academy. Ball eventually comes free Canberra's way. Bruce fires the hand pass out, but the ball is turned over, so Southport get it going again. Willis off to Shaw. Shaw kicks down the line. It's over the head of Johnson. Stays in play. Canberra with numbers. Budd kicks the ball forward of the wing. Southport have the numbers at the back. It bounces away, and it'll be thrown in between wing and half forward for Canberra. A pretty open forward line for the Demons. Just two attackers and two defenders inside 50 at the moment. So if they can get a quick break, well, they won't be able to get a quick break because the blood rule has been called. So that'll slow play down. That'll allow both sides to set up for this contest. Looks like that's the big Southport ruckman there in Jed Turner coming off with the blood rule, and Samuel Jewell is running onto the ground to replace him. Jewell is running in... he was running into defence, but I think now he's decided he's probably the tallest bloke around, so he's running towards that ruck contest. Eventually he sticks and mans up with Jared Osborne. It wasn't Turner, sorry, Chris. It was Seb Tape running off the ground there with the blood rule.
He's been very busy this quarter, has Tape. 30 players within 35 metres of the ball at the moment, Eddie.
Tape will have to get taped up. The ball comes out to Willis. Willis gets the hand pass away, but the ball was over the boundary line. So we'll get another stoppage. Very similar position between wing and half forward for the Demons.
Eddie Williams doing well to get us out of a sticky situation there as the ball will be brought back into play on the far side. I could see Maynard on this side of the ground for Canberra. He's just looking on longingly at the interchange gates. I think he'd really like to get back out there. He's got Richardson and Clark alongside him. So Canberra, they've been ringing the changes in numbers this afternoon. Ball gets the best of it goes to the Southport side, and I think it was Boston who got a short kick, but the congestion there allows the Canberra side to pick up the pill. Now waiting for it, calling for it is Osborne. Ball comes in towards the hot spot. Pollock instead was the target. He gets it, goes with the right foot over his left shoulder. Mark taken between the goalpost and the behind post. And the Southport side on the rebound once again as we see Jamison Shea just inside the 50. Takes the mark in front of Highmore. Taking his time here. Southport have really made the most of their possessions coming out of defence. And as I say that, they make a little bit of a meal of that one, and it's in front of Roberts for the Canberra side. They managed to pick it up now with Ruse. Ruse comes around to the stand side. Stopping and holding for a moment is Shea. Turn the ball back in towards the centre square where he's got a man out on his own. Another man on his own is Willis. Off the ball from Turner. Now Willis with the subterranean pass. Picked up from under the turf by Jewell. But Jewell can't do much with it. And now it's the Demons trying to get away with the ball through the middle of the park. But the tackle has been laid very, very quickly. And the umpire will come in and bounce it after Roberts was unable to do anything with it. Ball comes back up into the air. Tap one by Maynard, but again it's in the direction for Southport, and we've got a whistle and a free kick coming back.
And it was for contact below the knees there, Chris.
I wasn't sure there was tripping or below the knees, and the trip has been, or the below the knees has been called on Fife. He's doing well to get below his knees, by the way. He's not a tall man. He goes for the long bomb. About 30 metres out and coming through at great strength there for the Southport side is Hall, and Hall will have the shot on goal from about 40 out, and he's not on much of an angle. He's just gone down for a second there, Eddie.
And it's that quick movement. If you can get the quick break from the stoppage, get the clearance, get it inside 50 quickly. It's hard for opposition sides to defend. You're not able to get in front. You're not able to get in position. And it'll be Josh Hall to have this shot on goal.
I think it was just a loose lace on the boot that he was sorting out, although he does have that left leg strapped, which is why I was wondering why he'd gone down before. You can see the strapping just poking out from the top of his left sock. A little bit of an angle here, but he's kicking to give his side the lead. Canberra yet to score a goal this quarter. Southport have 2 for this quarter. And that one goes in the book next to Joshua Hall, and they now have 5-5-35. The Canberra Demons 5-4-34. Another lead change here at Phillip Oval, midway through the second term. Good Friday footy on NEAFL TV.
Well, it was a dominant first quarter for Canberra, but Southport turning things around in this term. 2 goals to none so far, and it's 2 goals 4. So 6 scoring shots to just 1 in this quarter for the Southport side, and the reigning premiers starting to show their class.
Well, something that a lot of opposition sides noted, especially as the season progressed last year, that Canberra were a stop-start side. They'd have a good quarter and then they'd go quiet. That'll be disturbing for the coaching staff at the Canberra Demons that it's happened again here, and happened against one of the quality sides. When you get some momentum against a side like Southport, you've got to keep on going. And Canberra, well, they're going to have to readdress things at half-time. Still plenty to go in this quarter. Who's got the most most gas in the tank? We'll find out as the Sharks win the tap, but it's picked up by Owen Orban. Gets the ball on to Osborne, who then finds Maguire. Maguire then round to Pollock. This is more polished footy from the Canberra Demons. Pollock too far out to score. Goes around the outer and finds Moline. Again, he's too far out. Puts it into the path of Baker. There we go. This is what the Demons are capable of. They showed plenty of it in the first quarter. And I think Baker will be taking a shot from deep in the pocket here. A couple more changes happening for this Canberra side right in front of us. Smout coming on. Baker coming on.
Might be Hardy with the ball, I think, Chris.
Is it Hardy? It is too. So Hardy goes with the right foot. Tries to curl it around, but curls it around a little bit early. But levels the scores. 5-5-35 apiece here as we are now into time on for the third quarter, or for the second quarter rather. Scoreboard's now saying quarter 3. Put a number in front of me and I'll read it, Eddie. And that's Manteet. Gives the ball off to Fields, and Fields goes for the long bomb all the way up into the forward half of the field for the Southport Sharks, and they'll bring it back in towards the middle now, where Shaw is waiting and takes the mark, gets the free kick. Take your pick. They play on. Boston finds Manteet. And then he sends them into attack. Flying for it there was Hall. Ball comes out towards the Canberra side, and I think it might have been Vardaniga who just goes for the up and under. And taking the grab. Is that Fife over there? It is. So Fife has it. And he'll take a shot from about 40 out. In the pocket on the far side of the ground at the southern end, Eddie.
He's been impressive today, Dylan Fife. He's got the zinc cream on, which is important on a sunny day. Coming up for disposal number 14 and looking to kick his first goal of the afternoon.
What's he got? Not quite as long, the longest run up we've seen from that end of the ground today, but close to it. I think it's going across the face. Pack forms, ball comes. Well, it's actually stayed in the field of play. I thought it might have been rushed through. Taking a snap there was Ford, but the ball was rebounded out. Ford was celebrating for a moment. He thought he'd got it through, so someone's obviously thrust a leg or a fist at the ball, and now the Canberra Demons, they're away once again. There's nobody forward of the centre circle, so this is going to be a long run for somebody. Fall has it. He stops for a moment. That's smart. He can turn it back on the inside if he can get around his man. He had calling for, I think it was Owen Orban. Gets it back now, does Fall. But the umpire says it's gone out over the boundary line on that far side. That's disappointing for the Demons.
No sense of theatre from the boundary umpire. He would have had a shot there, Tom Fall. You said they needed someone to run. Well, he's a man who can do it. 2 weeks back at Ainsley. Ran about 130 metres to kick an early goal of the year contender.
Indeed he did. Ball back in play. Neither ruckman has a go at it, and the umpire says we're going to have another go at this. So we'll have another ball in, or a repeat ball in. This game is all tied up as we approach half-time. Maynard goes up. I don't know if he got a touch on it, but they may give him the hit out anyway. Very quick tackle laid by Osborne. And the ball in the bottom of the pile. The umpire will come in and retrieve it again. Maguire's been having a break. Ball tapped forward for the Demons, but only as far as the boundary line. Now, a tape is going to come back on at some stage, but he's going to be wearing a different jersey. 37, I believe, Eddie?
That's right. So Seb Tape changing out of the number 8 after getting a bit of blood on the jersey, and he'll be back in number 37. So we'll keep an eye out for him as the second quarter continues. Maynard probably got a hand on that one. It comes out to Maguire, who's had a better quarter. In fact, that was Smout. Now here goes the Demons again, inside 50. Paik, can he get the ball to the back? He's got a teammate bursting through, but the ball is socketed through for a behind there. I think it was Reece Pollock who got the boot to ball. And the Demons take the lead. They're 5-6-36. Southport 5-5-35 as we wait for the Sharks to get the ball back and get ready to kick in.
Funny what coughing up a lead can do to you. It can put you under pressure that isn't necessarily there. I think Pollock had plenty more time to actually try and get a hand on that and go for the kick, but they may get another go at this because the kick out has gone straight to Matt Vardaniga.
So Matt Vardaniga in the headband, rolls around onto the right foot, kicks inside 50. Shaw's in a pretty good position there for Southport, but the ball didn't get quite that far. It lands back the Demons' way. Smout out of traffic, hands it in the Hardy direction. Hardy with the miracle shot on goal, and it's taken through for a rushed behind. 5-7-37 the Demons. 5-5-35. Southport, dangerous hand pass, turnover. Here comes Pollock. Was he held without it? Umpire says play on. Carr's there too. Still the Sharks hold on to the footy and they might get out of trouble as the kick comes toward the broadcast wing. It bounces in front of Johnson. He's under pressure from Budd. Now it comes out the way of Carr. His kick works its way towards half forward. It was cut off by Boston. Now here goes Turner. Turner's kick sits well for Shaw, who takes the mark in front of the Canberra ruckman in Maynard, and Matt Shaw just waits for his teammates to stream forward. He kicks it out to the wing to a one-on-one. No mark. Moline's there at the fall of the ball. Hands it off to Baker. Baker goes by hand as well. He keeps on running Angus Baker as the kick comes towards Hardy. Tried to mark it low down. It bounces off him. Comes off okay to Powell. Now here's Smout. Smout sells a bit of candy. Goes with the left foot kick inside 50. Hardy kept on running, and he takes a mark underneath the scoreboard, and Mitch Hardy will have another shot on goal.
Well, he had some practice from over here, so let's see if he goes any better this time. He knows just how much curve to put on the ball. He'll go for the outside of the right foot again.
It's been a consistent goal kicker with the Canberra Demons, looking for his second of the afternoon. Kicked a couple in each of the previous two matches of the NEAFL season as Highmore and Maguire, the co-vice captains, make their way back onto the ground for Canberra. A slow and steady approach from Mitch Hardy. Right foot drop punt. The crowd tells the story. Hardy has two, and that's a settler for the Canberra Demons, their first of the second quarter.
It'll be reassuring for them to retake the lead here with half-time not too far away. Late fade-outs have cost them in previous quarters, so great to see them here from a Canberra perspective put it right up to this Southport Sharks side. 6-7-43 for Canberra, 5-5-35, half-time not too far away.
And they do tend to tire the Canberra Demons as we get towards the final quarter. They wouldn't want to find themselves, say, 3 goals down or more at three-quarter time. It'd be very tough to come from behind against a class outfit like Southport. So the Demons need to stay in this contest. Realistically, they would want to be taking something like a 3-goal lead into three-quarter time, or they do run the risk of being overrun.
Well, let's just cast our minds back to that first game of the season there. Canberra went in 13 goals to 7 up over the Gold Coast and only wound up winning 14-10 to 13-5. It was a massive last quarter from the Gold Coast Suns. This will be a secondary ball up in the middle of the ground here.
And they were overrun by Sydney at this venue late last season, Chris. And we mentioned earlier, the Demons have never won at the newly redeveloped Phillip Oval.
To be fair, they've only played 2 games here. But it is still a stat that they would like to get. They'd like to christen this ground with a win, and to do it over the reigning premiers would make them happy. Turner muscling his way through the pack. Now the ball kicked it forward hurriedly for the Sharks. Waiting for it to come clear, but it doesn't come clear. It goes with Budd. Budd then finds Carr for the Demons. They go over to the far side now. Pollock, I think, probably the first man to it. Can't do much with it. Tapped away for the Southport Sharks instead, but only as far as the boundary line, and it'll be a throw in on the true centre wing position on the far side of the ground. Another goal here will make it very interesting going into the break. Either way, goal for Canberra, and it'll be a momentum setter for them going into the second half. A goal for the Sharks, though, and we'll be very close to tied up going into half-time, and it's the Sharks who get the best opportunity with it, but again, they overrun it. Coming out for the top is, I think might have been Baker in there for Canberra, but the ball again over the boundary line. We got another throw in just outside the 50-metre arc.
So they've been challenged in this quarter, the Demons. They conceded the lead, but they've been able to get it back. Now there's a free kick off the ball. It looks like Angus Baker has conceded a free, and there was a bit of push and shove earlier on the half-forward line just a few moments ago for Southport, and Shears was involved, and he's the man that picks up the free kick. He kicks it to the top of the goal square. Big fist in from Highmore. Hall knocks it away. Maguire is chasing the footy towards the boundary line. The boundary line wins out, and we'll have a throw-in inside 50 for Southport.
Can't afford to give away free kicks in those kind of situations.
No, you don't want to create pressure for yourself where there was previously none. As the siren sounds, it was a short siren, but it was the siren nonetheless. And at halftime, the Demons, they stood up in that quarter after Southport dominated early, and they take an 8-goal lead into the main break. Canberra 6-7-43, Southport 5-5-35. 2 goals for Mitch Hardy, singles to Alex Paik, Tom Fall, Adam Kanash and Tom Highmore. And for Southport, goals to Matt Shaw, Charles Ford, Jamison Shea, Joshua Hall and Matt Doran.
Canberra adding 1 goal for, Southport adding 2 goals for during that quarter. So fairly evenly matched right across the board. Leading disposals for the game. Baker has 17 for Canberra, 11 of those kicks. Smout has 13, 8 by foot, and Maguire has 11, as do Budd, Hardy, Pollock and Highmore, the only other one in double digits. He has 10 disposals, 7 kicks and 3 hand passes. And leading the marks, I reckon, for the day is Highmore. He has 7 for the day and many of those key defensive marks. For the Southport side, Shaw has 18 disposals, 11 kicks and 7 hand passes. Willis has 9 kicks as part of his 16 disposals. 5-14, Roos 12, Murdoch 12 and Boston has 11. And just showing how dominant Highmore is in the air with that 7 mark tally. I think the best for the Southport side is 4. There's 3 or 4 players in there who have 4 apiece. Overall, the possessions are 107 kicks to 94 Canberra. The hand passes 96 to 74 in favour of Southport, so that makes 190 possessions to 181 in Southport's way. And in the ruck, that has actually gone surprisingly even. Southport 21 hitouts and the Canberra Demons 19. And the inside 50s, well, Canberra absolutely killing it there, but they're not turning into points on the scoreboard. They have 37 inside 50s to Southport's 18.
It's not often we see the Canberra Demons even breaking even in hitouts, so that's an important stat today. A round of applause there from the home fans, pleased with what they've seen in this first half. And at halftime at Phillip Oval here on NEAFL TV, it's the Demons by 8 points.
This one very much still in the balance here at Phillip Oval. It's the Good Friday fixture. The first time these sides met on Good Friday was last year, and the tradition well received by Canberra. You would have seen plenty of people out on the ground during the break. Surprising how many people are here this afternoon. We can't see a lot of them from where we are, but they all got out on the ground at half-time. And as the third quarter starts, it's the home side, the Canberra Demons in front, 6-7-43 over the Southport Sharks, 5-5-35. Eddie Williams and Chris Coleman bringing you the action here on Good Friday afternoon on NEAFL TV. And it's Highmore with a little hand pass to get the first clear possession away for the third term, and moving straight into attack are the Demons. And it was Bruce who tried to get it. It just clean bowled him. And then the pack forms and the ball in the bottom of it. So the Demons, they'll be looking for early scores here. They'll be looking to try and put away any prospective Southport Sharks revival before it starts in this third term. Maynard gets the best of the punch, but it's only almost to his own feet, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in there. But a WWE breaks out, and the ball will be retrieved by the umpire on the edge of the centre square. We still haven't made it outside that centre square ready to start the third term.
Bit of push and shove there between Roos and Maguire, who are on each other at this contest, just getting acquainted as we start the second half. Maguire hands it back to Highmore. His kick is for Pollock. He just got a hand on it before the ball went out of bounds. So it'll be thrown in between wing and half forward for Canberra, kicking it to the right of your screen in this third term, to the Woden end. The Sharks going to the left to the northern end of the ground. Maynard up in ruck against Turner. It's knocked down to the front. Owen Orban is there. It spills out. Maguire's running back to the ball, but it's picked up by Shea. Maguire on top of him, and Roos on top of Maguire will have a ball up near the Southport Sharks interchange gates. As you say, Chris, a very healthy crowd here, and Good Friday footy means that there's no local footy being played at the same time. We normally see the Demons playing at midday on a Saturday, when there is generally a lot of other AFL Canberra footy being played. So plenty of people perhaps getting their first taste of the NEAFL for season 2019. And the Demons will get their first shot on goal for the quarter, because Adam Kanash has taken a fantastic grab, and he'll go back from 20 metres out on a slight angle.
We talked in the first half about Canberra's wayward kicking, especially in the first quarter. There was a lot of it. That kick from, I think it was Osborne who put the ball into attack for Kanash, was absolutely pinpoint perfect.
Kanash looking for his second, makes no mistake. Perfect start for the Demons. They're on the board in the opening 2 minutes of this third term, and the score ticks up to 7-7. 49. 7-7-49. The Demons and the scoreboard here at Phillip does this fantastic thing when the team kicks a goal, where it says goal, and it fills the whole screen.
They're listening
the
to us, Eddie.
Disappears.
They're listening to us in the scoreboard control room, and I think they wait for us to start giving the score and look up at the board, and just as we start to read the numbers, it disappears and goes into goal celebration mode.
7-7-49. The Sharks are 5-5-35. 2 goals for Adam Kanash.
Ball comes back into the middle of Phillip Oval, and we wait for the restart. Canberra now, they'll be looking for the next one to really get a roll on here. Southport, they'll know that they can put on goals, and plenty of them, and they did that in the last term as well. Ball still in the middle of the ground. Maynard goes the long way down, tries to pick it up, taps it into the path of Osborne, who set up that last goal. Back into the pack now. Kick off the ground attempted by Turner. There's a player down in the middle of the park. It's Bud who's down. Certainly looks like his boots. It's not.
It's Smout.
Smout in there, okay. He's down in the centre circle. Canberra going onto the attack, but the ball has been cut off by the Southport Sharks, and they rebound now via Jamison Shea. He can run all day because he's got nobody in his vicinity. Puts a hand pass over a little bit high for Manteet, who can't control it. Ball comes free from him eventually into the path of Dale, but all Dale can do is run to the boundary line, and the umpire gives it after a little bit of deliberation as a deliberate handball, and Canberra will be able to go on the attack again, courtesy of Cade Klemke, who was probably most vocal in the appeals for a deliberate decision. Ball goes down the line, picked up by Paik with the headband. Paik sending the ball high in the sky, having to shield his eyes from the sun. There was Murdoch. Doesn't he own the sun? Oh, it's a different Murdoch. Ball comes back into play then for the Southport side, and they come back up the line. Waiting underneath it is Hall. Can't control the ball. Picked up then by House, and hot potato, but it pays off very well for the Canberra Demons as they see it go forward through Richardson, off hands and over the boundary line. It'll be a throw in just next to the treatment bench there at the Southport Sharks interchange bench.
A very decisive spoil there from Tom Fields, and good news, Alex Smout back up and running after spending some time Quite a few moments on the ground after a contest earlier, but he's back and he's around the ball at this stoppage as the boundary umpire gets ready to throw it back in the bright sunshine here in Phillip. Maynard and Turner. It comes out towards Maguire. Maguire arches the back, goes by a hand to Vardaniga. Vardaniga shrugs the tackle. Right foot kick inside 50. It's poorly directed. That's been the problem for the Demons today. They kick the ball that time straight to Josh Williams. He goes to Shaw. Another disposal for Matt Shaw. He just chips it short for Shears. Kai Shears. Shaw kept on running. Receives the hand pass. Goes inside 50. It's in the direction of Johnson. He gathers. He goes with a very high ball to the goal square towards Hall. Can't take the mark. Spills out to Dale. Man on his own in the goal square. Soccers it through. And it's Charles Ford. 2 goals for Ford. End-to-end stuff from the Sharks, and they get one back.
Opportunistic stuff, but you've got to be the man in the right place at the right time, and the Southport Sharks showing the advantage of playing on and just keep on going there. But that started from one ill-directed kick into centre-half forward for the Canberra Demons, and it was turned around at centre-half back by the Sharks, and they just went bang, bang, bang round the outside. A little bit of fortuitous at the end, although Charles Ford will tell you that he meant it all day long. He's put it through, and it's back to where we started this quarter with an 8-point difference. Canberra 7-7-49, Southport 6-5-41. We've been playing 6 minutes in the third quarter here at Football Park, or Phillip Oval as it is known in 2019.
It was like the old cross through to the striker, and he just chipped it through. The keeper was nowhere to be seen. As
seen
it's
a bit of that in the European Champions League across the course of this week, and the Demons, well, they're on the fast burst here from the middle of the park, and just look at this man go, Maguire. I tell you, if you're playing footy, you just run off him all day. He'll make you look very, very good as well. Powell has it now, looking for options up forward. Fall is the man running into space, and he gets into plenty of it. Front man in the contest takes the mark unopposed directly in front of the big sticks.
Well, he's the main tall target for them inside 50, Tom Fall, and he's been pretty good today. He makes a contest. Whenever he's around the ball, something's going to happen, and here he is looking for his second goal of the afternoon.
Maguire's just come off there. I'll just keep an eye on him. He just seems to be limping a little bit. You call the action here, Eddie. I'll keep an eye on Maguire down on the bench.
So Tom Fall getting on his correct line. He'll kick from around 45 metres out. Not too much angle to speak of. Not too much wind to speak of. Should be a relatively simple kick by Tom Fall's standards. Prefers more difficult shots than this. Left foot drop punt, puts it through. So a quick reply from the Canberra Demons. The lead is back out to 14 points. They go to 8-7-55. And that means Southport must be on 41, which I'd say is 6-5-41.
Absolutely spot on. I've been keeping an eye on Maguire. He's okay. It's just, I think maybe a little tired more than anything coming off for the break, but he's just got a bit of water into him and he looks okay
Well,
now.
he would be tired, Chris, because he only had 2 disposals in the first quarter. Since then, he's added another 14. 16 disposals for Mitch Maguire, the second highest for the Demons side.
You'd be a brave man to bet against him being the highest disposal getter for Canberra, and indeed the highest disposal getter for the game by the end of the day, even after that slow start by his standards.
5 tackles and 6 clearances as well.
He's a very busy man, and yeah, as you mentioned, potentially a mid-season draft target. Ball going in the direction for Canberra, but being pushed in that direction by Andrew Boston for Fremantle, for the Southport Sharks. Where'd Fremantle come from?
Well, they're playing tomorrow.
They are.
The Giants
I'm ahead of
Monica.
myself, aren't I? And
they do have
Fife in there as well,
yeah.
I think. It was the player I was looking for. So Boston's got the free. Little one toward contact once when he was getting rid of the ball. Looks to his outside. Decides instead to... Well, actually comes to his outside in the end. But getting into front position there was Maynard. Maynard taps it down to his opposite number in Fields. Fields then finds Manteet, and Manteet goes in short to Jamison Shea at centre-half forward. Interestingly, he goes across to the far side of the ground where he had Jack O'Shea waiting for it, and now they've got to work it back in. So they've gone 40 metres one way, 40 metres the other, nearly lost the ball, picked up by Shears, who's going full tilt, puts the ball into the path of a teammate on the far side of the ground in...
Might be Fields.
Is it Fields over there? It is Fields.
A strange setup there from Southport.
Very weird.
Prepared to take the ball wide, to wait for the right option to come inside 50, and not the most direct route, but in the end it's paid off.
I reckon by my mental calculations and memory, I reckon they've gone forward by about 12 metres with 6 possessions that took the ball about 80. So Fields with the kick from right on 50. The goal umpire doesn't move. Well, it may have been an unorthodox approach. But the finish, well, that's just classic Aussie rules. The big long bomb from Tom Fields, his first goal for the day. And we have a nail-biter in prospect here at Phillip Oval on Good Friday, with Fields getting his first, and we are seeing now the Canberra Demons 8-7-55. Southport 7-5-47. Back to that 8-point margin we had at half-time. You'd be a brave man to try and pick a winner out of this one, Ed.
Going goal for goal in this third quarter, becoming a bit of a shootout. 2 goals each to the Demons and the Sharks through the first 10 minutes, and we're seeing some of these senior players, Shaw and Tape, Maguire and Baker, stepping up for the Demons and for the Sharks. Paik doing the ruck this time for the Canberra Demons up against Turner. The umpire bounces the ball. It favours Paik. His hit out went straight into the waiting hand there of Turner. Now it spills to Willis. Willis's kick is smothered. In comes Ford, fed the hand pass backwards, and now a chance for Dale. Can't quite juggle the mark. It'll spill Southport's way. Good pressure from Richardson there for the Demons. Eventually Bud gets a very short kick away, but it was intercepted by Turner. And now Boston with the kick inside 50. And Southport players queuing up. They get another shot on goal, and they'll try and look for 2 goals in a row here, which neither side have been able to do through the first 11 minutes of this quarter. In fact, the short pass comes, and poor marking there from the Demons. Jamison Shea comes in to take the mark.
He'll have no voice left, Shea. He'd been calling for it. He'd made at least 2 leads prior to that. Run in, run back. Run in and run back, and I think the Canberra Demons maybe just dropped off him a little bit, thinking he wouldn't go to the well a third time. He did. And he's got a difficult shot, but not impossible.
He's already kicked 1 this afternoon, Jamison Shea. Looking for goal number 2. Mitch Hardy had a couple of shots for the Demons from a similar position in the second term. Goes with the drop punt. Well, they couldn't kick them from in front earlier in the match, but they're kicking them from all angles now. And Southport have their 8th. And they trim that margin back to just 2 points here at Phillip Oval. So it is a bit of a shootout in this third quarter. The Sharks 8-5-53. They trail the Demons 8-7-55.
It was one of the things that was talked about as a possibility under the rule changes that have been implemented into Australian rules football this season, that we'd see potentially lower scoring first halves, but as fatigue becomes more of a factor, players dropping off and the cream rising to the top and the shootout developing, and that seems to be what we've got here this afternoon. Bear in mind, we'd seen 11 goals prior to half time. We've seen 5 in 12 minutes since, so the scoring rate has increased. Ball up, down, up in the middle of the ground. And we see the pack over the top, so we'll get another bounce or a ball up just outside the centre circle in there. Paik was doing the ruck work for Canberra. Boston, who's been prolific since half-time, came in very late to apply additional pressure. Tap out 1 by Turner, and eventually managed to get some sort of a kick away. It's only gone about 12 metres. Nobody able to get a clear possession. One of the Demons players has picked it up, but is set upon by Fife. And another tackle, so Canberra moving it very, very slowly towards their goal, but Southport doing the same thing in the other direction now as we see the ball come free. Clearing kick from Klemke for the Demons, but it only goes as far as Williams. Williams hasn't done a lot so far today, but goes for a long one into the centre-half forward position. Bud does better, positions himself well, gets the tap on, finds his coach. Then Cade Klemke, his kick is smothered. Well, sometimes better lucky than good. Hall, the recipient of the luck, gets a goal and puts the Southport side in front. Remarkable goal, Eddie.
Well, I'm not sure Cade Klemke will be getting a spray from the coach, because he is the coach, but disappointing there from Klemke. The kick smothered, and in came Josh Hall, banged through the goal from the goal square. They've scored a couple in the goal square, difficult to miss from there, and the Sharks back in front. A fast start to them in this second quarter. They've booted 4 goals to 2 so far.
Southport had the better of the start in the second quarter as well, before Canberra managed to pick up a goal late in proceedings and restore their lead. Canberra are going to need, I think, more than a goal in this quarter to keep themselves in the game at three-quarter time. Third quarter, championship quarter, premiership quarter. And it's Paik once again doing the ruck work up against Turner. Turner gets the tap. Only goes as far as Smout. Smout hand passes back in towards Maguire. Maguire jumped upon, gets a little kick away. Quick hand pass, I think it was Osborne, who then found Owen Orban. And Owen Orban then gets around to Highmore. Highmore clears his man. Ball is picked up by Baker. Baker then finds it back to Smout. Canberra, they've gone sideways. Now they get a chance to go forward, but again they get an attack cut off in its prime. Short rebound kick to Ford. He has a man running on in, I think it was Doran. Hand pass to him. Canberra, they've got plenty of numbers in defence, and the little underground hand pass does well. And they get the rebound, and they've got numbers in the middle of the park. This is good to see. As they go into attack, and they find Hardy just too far out to score. He's got a man in short, bit of pressure goes on him. Got both hands on it, but couldn't take the grab. Not sure if it had actually gone the 15 either there. And the tap out over the boundary line, we'll see a throw in. He was under pressure, which was really a good thing. I can't quite work out whether it mustn't have been long enough for a mark in there, because there's no excuse really for Powell to just slap that one away over the boundary line. Ball comes back into play. A tap to Smout. Smout looking for a teammate, has been put down, and Canberra putting themselves under pressure again. Powell, I think that is flying out of the bottom of the pack with the hand pass. Maybe it's Roberts in there as well. It's like an under-sevens game at the moment. Half the players are all within 10 metres of the footy. Little clearing kick out of defence for the Sharks goes to Shea. Shea can't control it. It comes out over the boundary line. Umpire will throw it back in. And yeah, the 6-6-6, it's well and truly gone, Eddie. Everybody is in that half of the field, and most of the players are inside that forward 50.
And it'll be Paik going up in ruck again here for Canberra. He's done the past few ruck contests. Interesting to see whether Maynard comes back on soon, as Maguire gives the hand pass to Baker. A very high ball from Angus Baker. If there were clouds, it'd bring rain. No one can take the mark. It comes out to Paik. Paik gives the hand pass back to Smout. Smout on the left, has a shot at goal. He's put it across the face. So a behind for the Demons, 8-8-56. They trail the Sharks, who are 8-5-59. We'll keep an eye out on whether Paik continues to do the ruck. And
Maynard's warming up now.
He seems to be about to come back on the ground, Josh Maynard. And I just wonder if that's made things a bit of a challenge in the past few minutes for the Demons, where they've just struggled a bit in the ruck, with the second ruckman having to go up against Jed Turner. Klemke with the spoil. Ball comes to Highmore. Highmore. His kick finds Roberts. Roberts. He'll go inside 50. It's in the direction of Hardy. Spills to Fall. Fall gives it back to Hardy. Hardy's snap is smothered. Fall lays a tackle. Fife with a long kick. Bud is in front of Turner, but Turner, too strong, too tall, juggles the mark on the defensive edge of the centre square. Southport, they play on. It came to Doran. Doran gives it back to Fife. Fife pops it up in the direction of Hall. And Hall juggles a nice mark. He thought about going inboard. Bit indecisive there, Josh Hall. Goes into the corridor. Good mark taken by Shea. Shea goes all the way back to centre half back to Tape, wearing the number 37 in this second half, after his number 8 jersey was ruled out due to the blood rule. The Sharks move it towards half forward, and now they'll look to go back into attack. Quick hand pass to Shaw. Shaw puts it up towards full forward. Dale's in a good spot, but coming in to take the mark from the side, Angus Baker. Having another great day for the Demons.
Good defensive mark from Baker, and now Canberra, they need to show that they can work it. Doesn't matter if they do it slowly or quickly, but they just need to hang on to the ball. They've given up far too many possessions across the course of the day. I don't know what the stat is for points off turnovers. They went through Richardson, through to Maynard. Maynard then...
He's got Highmore all on his own on the broadcast side of the ground.
Hasn't spotted him, goes short. Now they work it around to the broadcast side. They're still looking for Highmore. More dangerous play, but Vardaniga gets in front of Turner. Would have heard the footsteps and took the mark. Highmore screaming for it. Vardaniga's decided it's time to get the ball out of dodge. And then instead goes for the chip shot. Looks for Maynard, off hands. Goes via Roberts to Powell. And then on to Osborne. Osborne finds Fall. Too far out to score, but don't ever tell him that. Puts the ball into the path of a teammate. Perfectly judged. Perfectly judged. And the hand pass comes on, and Carr runs into a goal. Puts the foot to the metal and puts it through. And the Demons go back into the lead here. Oh, it's going to be a shootout here at Phillip this afternoon. And Harry Carr gets his first goal for the day. The Canberra Demons are back in front, 9-8-62 over the Southport Sharks, 9-5-59. 19 minutes gone, 19 and a half gone in the third quarter.
Angus Baker comes off the ground, and it was his intercept mark in defence there that led to that goal. They had a slow build-up working the ball out of defence, but eventually Tom Fall with a strong mark and just waited for the exact right moment for Reece Pollock to stream forward. A centimetre perfect kick to Pollock, and then quick hands from Pollock over the top to Carr, who won't get much of an easier goal than that. And we are starting to see goals from the goal square, where we do see the defenders tiring a little bit, players able to get out the back and run into that open goal. We've gone, what are we? We're coming up to nearly 20 minutes. We're ticking towards time on in this third quarter. That bounce went askew from the centre circle, so we'll have a throw-up with Maynard back in the centre, going up in ruck against Jed Turner. It's thrown up, knocked down to the back. It came out for Boston. He fed the hand pass off. Now it's with Ruse. Ruse off and running. Gets the hand pass forward. Southport players streaming forward. Here's Dale. Hand pass over the head of Clark. They've got numbers inside 50 here. It comes out to Manteet. Manteet, left foot. Damon's getting back with numbers in the last line of defence, and Bud is able to give the hand pass off to Highmore, but Tom Highmore has put the ball out of bounds on the full.
And considerably out of bounds on the full. Now, I'm not sure whether we're able to get a shot in from here. It's right on the post, almost, for Mitch Johnson. So he'll need to aim this one at leg stump and work it back towards off.
It's the outswinger.
Does he have? Not a great deal of angle to work with. Runs in around the man on the mark and instead sends it just wide and through for a point. Southport go to 9-6-60, Canberra 9-8-62. I don't think there's ever been a really close game between these two sides, so we could be in for a nail biter at Phillip. Pretty ordinary restart for Canberra. It goes straight to Mitch Johnson. I don't know what's happened there. That's just...
Well, Highmore was on his own, but the kick just didn't make it far enough.
Well, couldn't have picked him out any better.
And Johnson put his hands up. He's not a tall man, Mitch Johnson, but it landed basically in his lap, and he'll have a shot for his first goal.
It's like they were playing kick to kick. Johnson, well, you've got the best seat in the house here for this one on NEAFL TV this afternoon. Daniel from Bar TV doing the great camera work as we see Johnson just leans back and textbook style kicks it from just inside 50, punches the air with one fist and puts the Southport Sharks back into the lead with his first goal for this afternoon, and they now have a small break over the Canberra Demons, leading by 4 points, 10-6-66 to 9-8-62.
Well, there was a bit of reverse swing on that kick there from Mitch Johnson. It went one way, then the other. It went through the goals, and that's all that matters after he didn't make the most of the earlier shot. So Southport with that 4-point lead. They've kicked 5 goals in this quarter. They only had 5 up to half-time, so they're really starting to open the game up. Importantly, they've kicked 5 goals, 1 in this term, so much more accurate kicking in this third quarter from the Sharks. We know last week in the third quarter they kicked 7 behinds against Aspley, so important that they make the most of their opportunities this afternoon. As we're back in the middle, could have been another clearance there to Maguire, but the kick was smothered. Umpire pays a free for legged, and it'll go the way of Ruse, who plays on quickly as the Sharks have the ball on the outer side of the ground. They go further wide to Willis. Willis took the mark. The ball fell out of his hands afterwards, so he didn't have the opportunity to play on quickly. He just stabs it short for Williams. Another slower build-up this time by Southport. Comes out to Boston. Now they get the ball working forward, but Clark got in the way. Made sure it got over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw-in near half forward for Southport.
4 points the margin, 23.5 gone. And the ball comes back into the field of play. You could almost call it the hospital wing, the Canberra Hospital on that far side. Normally you need a lot more money for a hospital wing to be named after you. The ball in dispute. Ruse gets a clearing kick into attack for the Canberra, for the Southport side. It was Klemke underneath it.
We might see a 50-metre penalty here.
Let's
see what the umpire does.
Klemke was...
Yep, 50 metres.
Klemke was knocked to the ground. There's a bit of push and shove still going on behind the scene here.
Southport will want to be careful not to give away 100 here.
Well, they've got a good 50, and Klemke goes with it. Hand pass finds Baker. Baker puts the ball inside the forward 50. Fall was waiting for it, but the ball didn't go his way. Now picked up off the ground for the Southport side by Murdoch. Murdoch goes around the outside, finds Shaw, and the Sharks able to reset for the rebound. Shaw had Shea on the inside, but instead went to O'Shea. Yes, that was hard to say. Now on to Williams. Williams goes across the ground and the ball comes back inside for Tyler Roos. Roos then turns the ball back, finds Manteet. Manteet goes for the short pass, bounces in front of Hall. Hall has time to pick the ball up, recover, had time to get set for the shot. Maybe took too much time to get set for the shot and overthought it. Put it through for a point. 10-7-67 for Southport. Canberra 9-8-62. 5-point game, 25 minutes gone. And Angus Baker taking his time on the restart. And I note that he has now been given the restart duties. Decides to go for a little bit of a run, goes for one bounce, and sends the ball outside the 50. Waiting underneath it was Kanash, but the better position was Tom Fields, and Fields takes the mark, puts the Southport side back into attack very, very quickly. Tyler Roos waiting underneath, the pack flies. I think the ball's gone over absolutely everyone, and it might be Vardaninger who got the best of it. Now Klemke goes for the long ball. Under pressure is Powell, but he shrugs off one man, pushes off another, gets a hand pass away, but the umpire has said you've taken too long there, holding the ball, and it'll be yet another free kick and a shot on goal, you would imagine, coming up here from the Southport Sharks.
I think he just put the ball on the ground for a moment there, Jack Powell, as he was swung round in the tackle, and that was enough for the umpire to say, Jack Powell, you are holding the ball. So the Sharks looking for goal number 6 in this third quarter.
They lead by 5. Can they get it out to double digits? Oh, it's possibly the worst kick of the day, and Baker getting onto it and gets a push in the back for his trouble. Now, if they play on quickly, they've got numbers around this side of the ground. They do play on quickly. Budd takes the mark, could have gone, had Smout in space. All getting themselves into trouble and then out of it again at Canberra by going to Smout. Smout back to Budd. Budd looks for Highmore. He's tackled, offloads, back to Smout again. Now it's Budd. Plenty of possessions for them, but it's all to naught as the ball's picked up, cut off by the Southport side through Tape, then onto Roos. Roos bombs it in towards the forward 50 and just gets it over the outstretched fingers of Maynard. Oh, that's not bad. And Tyler Roos, well, he's the focus of plenty of celebration there as he gets the 6th goal for the Southport side in this quarter. And they really are setting the game on fire. They move on to 11-7-73, Canberra 9-8-62.
Well, Tyler Roos turning a pretty ordinary passage of play into a very nice finish. Southport completely mucking up their original shot on goal with the kick into the man on the mark. And then the Demons, they had a relatively simple passage out of defence. They just couldn't get clean possessions away. They were hassled out of the ball. And Tyler Roos coming up with a nice kick when no one else could. And the Sharks with a pretty handy 11-point break close to three-quarter time. We know the Demons tend to tire in final quarters, so Canberra will be hoping to peg this margin back before the three-quarter time siren. As it's bounced in the middle, it was Paikin Turner in ruck again. Fife couldn't pick up the ball. Comes out in his direction. Willis is waiting for it to come out as well. Powell is in there. The umpire's circling. And he's going to come in and ball it up. Forward half of the ground for the Canberra Demons. Paikin Turner. Knocked down the way of Smout. Smout fires the hand pass for Baker. Baker gathers. He's met by Manteet. He's brought to ground. How will the umpire see this one? He's going to ball it up.
He just got a ball that we got a hand pass away in underneath there. So we have a stage set for a barnstorming finish here. 9 goals in this quarter, so I reckon there's still probably a few minutes left before the break here on a day that is very much warming up here at Phillip Oval. Plenty of Southport jumpers at the moment. Little hand pass, though, has been intercepted by Carr. And then Carr, well, he sends the ball up. Wouldn't have been a mark. It is a mark, just over the 15 metres required. Screaming for it out this side was Shaw, but instead the ball goes back into the middle of the ground. There's only one... Oh, there's not too many players in the middle of it, and probably the best of it for Clark, the debutant for the Canberra Demons, but he can't do much with it. And we see the long hair of Dale And he found Shaw was the hair-bear bunch at the moment. Now the ball goes through hands and winds up with Hall. Hall puts it into the path of Mackenzie Willis. Willis can't control it. Manages to drive Clark off the ball. Now coming through underneath it was Baker. Comes to the outside. Clark has another go. Sends it up the sideline. And good communication from the Demons. Kanash calling off. It was Pollock in front of him. Pollock just dropping the hands in time, and Kanash gets the mark. Right in front of our broadcast spot here on NEAFL TV, sending the Demons back into attack just outside their forward 50 at the moment. In over the top of it is Miller. Miller then taken by Powell, and the pack is there. Not a particularly big pack, but pack nonetheless. Umpire will ball it up. 29 minutes, 40 seconds gone. Like I said, it's been a 9-goal quarter, so I'd reckon we've probably got another 3 minutes left in this one. Tap down one by Paik. And now it's picked up off the ground by Roberts. He finds a teammate in Osborne. Osborne sends an ill-directed kick into the forward pocket. And so the Southport side will rebound. And they do so over the far side of the ground. They've got Miller waiting at centre-half back to continue to go around the far side of the ground. Not necessarily the best of options because there's plenty of Canberra players waiting for the rebound. Strong mark taken. Very strong mark taken. It's Vardaniga who's picked it. He'd be just too far out to score. But he can go to the top of the goal square. Who's waiting for it? Well, in the end, it's all white. I think it's Murdoch in the back line who's taken, and they work it around the grandstand side now. Murdoch goes on to Shea. And Shea turns around. A bit too early to be shutting up shop. There's nobody forward of the middle of the ground at the moment. So Southport have decided that the short game is the go. And now they work it around the grandstand side. Target was Hall. Back underneath. Mark taken by Paik. Paik then gives a hand pass and somehow it stays in the field of play. Not quite sure how that happened, but it's wound up with Baker. Quick 1-2. Now it comes back to Klemke. Klemke, he's bumped as he kicks the ball. Flies and goes to the ground. Unable to take the mark. Oh, it would have been mark of the day. Right in front of us. You don't often see them on the centre wing, do you, Eddie, at that kind of height?
Well, the price of admission is not expensive at the NEAFL, Chris, but it is worth the price of admission to watch Tom Fall play. That would have been a spectacular mark. Paik and Turner in ruck again. Paik trying to work his way to the front. In the end, took it out of the ruck. Couldn't really get a decisive disposal away. Comes to Willis. Willis feeds it back to Williams. Williams breaks away from Hardy. Kicks towards half forward. Clark is in best position. Ball goes through his hands, but it'll spill to Budd for the Demons. Budd, low right foot kick that ends up straight in the hands of Josh Williams for Southport. So we're playing between the 250-metre arcs at the moment as Fields drives Southport inside 50 and Mitch Johnson takes another mark and he'll have another shot on goal. So turnovers again hurting the Canberra Demons, and that's become a bit more apparent in this quarter. And Johnson to try and kick his second goal and the Sharks' 7th goal of the third quarter.
They really have come alive in this term, and there's the siren, so just adds a little bit more intrigue and pressure into the kick. What's Johnson got? He's going to be kicking from bang on 50 directly in front.
Mitch Johnson crosses the 50, the right foot drop punt. It's a high ball. It started a little out to the right, and it stayed right. So a minus score, a let off for the Demons, and Southport end the third quarter 11-8-74. They've got a 2-goal lead over the Canberra Demons, who are 9-8-62. For Southport, 2 goals each to Charles Ford, Jamison Shea and Joshua Hall. Singles to Matt Shaw, Tom Fields, Matt Doran and Tyler Roos with a nice finish from 50 out in that quarter. For the Demons, 2 each to Fall and Hardy, and singles to Paik, Carr, Kanash and Highmore.
Southport adding 6 goals, 39 in that quarter, so they've more than doubled their score in that third quarter. Canberra, they weren't disgraced, but just not fast enough. They only added 3 goals, 1, so that's 19 points, 62-74. The scoreline here at three-quarter time. Leading stats getters, well, for the game, the leading possession getter is Baker for Canberra. He has 25, Smout 22, Maguire 19. So the huge start he had to that third quarter went a little bit quiet in the latter stages, but watch out for him with a big finish to come, you'd imagine. Budd has 18, and there's plenty of other Canberra players between 12 and 14 possessions. For the Southport side, Shaw has 24, 15 kicks and 9 hand passes. Roos has got himself into it. He had a lot of the ball in that quarter, including that goal. 23 disposals for the day for him. Murdoch has 20. Willis has 19. Fife and Boston with 18 apiece. The hit-outs, it is Southport now 34 to 25. The clearances going Canberra's way, 27 to 23. And the inside 50 still Canberra's way, 49 to 31. The efficiency inside the forward 50, a big question mark over Canberra, as is their finishing ability. And can Southport continue with their accuracy today, or will the yips that they had last week come back to haunt them? We'll find all that out in the next half an hour or so. An exciting finish coming up to this one, but at three-quarter time, it's the Southport Sharks up by 2 goals over Canberra, 74 to 62 at Phillip. Well, the home team with it all to do here. They had an early lead. In fact, they probably led for more than they've been behind, but it's the visiting Southport Sharks who have the 12-point advantage going into the final quarter. It's a massive turnaround from the last two games between these sides. Southport winning them both comfortably last year. Canberra getting home by, I think it was just one straight goal in a match between these two sides in 2017. But Eddie, Canberra need probably 5 goals, I'd reckon, to win this one this afternoon. Southport, conversely, probably only need a couple to bottle it up.
A great challenge for the Demons in this final quarter. They were disappointing last week against Redland. They've been a lot better today. They held on to beat the Gold Coast Suns in round 1. Can they come from behind to cause an upset at home on Good Friday? The centre bounce went outside of the centre circle, so it'll be called back and it'll be tossed up. Can Southport, the reigning premiers, make it 3 in a row to start the NEAFL season? They hold a 2-goal lead as we get ready to restart this final term. Ball comes down the way of Boston, but Moline picks it up for Canberra, gives it to Maguire. Maguire flicks it out to Richardson. Richardson kicks Canberra towards half forward, and Bruce, the captain, takes the mark on the chest. Hasn't always been the target today going forward. He's got a man on short, elects to go longer. It's in the direction of Paik, and Alex Paik takes the mark.
Well, that's what Canberra need. They need to make sure that they hit their targets today, and we've seen it right from the middle of the ground there. Maguire getting in, sharking it off the bounce, finding it was teammate to teammate to teammate, and inch-perfect ball to Paik, and Paik, one of the more reliable men in front of the big sticks. They've
got to make the most of early opportunities here, the Demons, because we know they will tire as this quarter goes on. Alex Paik, left foot kick, no problem.
6 points the margin. Canberra going to 10-8-68. Southport 11-8-74, and barely a minute gone to start this final quarter. So Canberra, they'll be well aware of the size of the task here. By the way, if you're wondering, with it being even 6 points at the moment, has there ever been a draw featuring either of these sides? Canberra had one back in the days when there were multiple teams out of the ACT. They had one against Ainslie. But as far as I'm aware, Southport have never played in a drawn game in the NEAFL. So read into that what you will. A long way to go in this one, though. 6 points the difference. 90 seconds gone in the final quarter. And for the Demons, it's once again Maynard. And for the Sharks, it's Jed Turner. Turner gets the tap down, but the ball in dispute in the circle. Comes away then from Willis. Willis back to Turner. The ruckman Turner into overdrive, puts the ball forward. And he finds a diving Mitch Johnson. Johnson, he's outside the 50. Waits for his teammates to flood forward. Now he puts the ball long down into the centre square. Goal umpire shielding their eyes from the sun. Punched through. And in fact punched across the face of goal. And so it's out for a throw-in. Canberra would probably have preferred the point as opposed to the contested ball that's to come. We are starting to see a lot of players get on the ball. There's only 2 on the other side of halfway and only about 8 outside the 50-metre arc at the southern end of the ground. Ball comes back in, courtesy of the umpire. It's gone a long way up. Punched away by Hall towards the goals, and this time, has it gone through?
It hit the behind
post. There we go. So the boundary umpire indicating as such, and so it'll be another throw-in. Southport working it by inches around towards the goal they're heading towards. Ball in the air. Maynard gets the best of it. Then it bounces back. I think it was there's Hall into the charge now. Ruse has the snap, but it stays on the near side. Now Canberra will get the clean possession they were looking for. Having conceded 1 point, they trail by 7, 75-68.
Whistle here. Looks like it'll be a free kick off the ball. No one seems to know what it's for. It might be a 50-metre penalty. No.
It's a free kick off the ball.
We're just going to wait and see what happens here because we don't know.
It will be a Canberra ball. That much we do.
The umpire is
gone the other way
at someone
or
something. And it's going to be a Southport free kick at the attacking edge of the centre square going the way of Mitch Johnson. Not sure what that was for, but obviously a bit of contact off the footy perhaps. The ball was in the hands of Clark, who goes long to the goal square. No one can take the mark. It'll come out Shear's way. He couldn't get a kick clear. It's picked up there by Dale. His kick was smothered. It's off hands, and it's a rush behind. Desperate defence by the Demons. So another point for Southport. They lead by 8. 11-10 plays 10-8. We saw in the third quarter, every time the Demons managed to kick a goal, Southport would get one back. So Canberra needs to string goals together in this final quarter, otherwise the Sharks will keep them at arm's length. It's the Demons with the footy. They're just chipping it around short in defence. Aaron Bruce has come all the way back to the back pocket. He just goes with another short kick for Angus Baker. Plenty of the footy today for Baker. Little indecisive on this occasion. Goes with a long kick off the right foot to the wing to a contest. Klemke wasn't paid the mark, but he recovered well. Gets the kick forward, and he's got players running in front of him. That looks like Pollock. Pollock goes inside 50. He's got Kanash and Paik. Kanash is closest. Can he keep it in play? He can't. It's over the line. We'll have a boundary throw-in, forward pocket for the Canberra Demons.
That's everything you can do, I can do better at the moment. So we've seen a couple of throw-ins at the southern end of the ground. Now we're at the northern end, not too far from the goal. Ball comes back in. Paik into the ruck. Turner does the better of it. But it comes off the pack and it's through to Pollock. Pollock drops it onto his right foot over his left shoulder and it's punched through for a point. So Canberra chipping back at this lead now. It's been out to 8. Now it's back to 7. 10-9, 69. Southport 11-10, 76. And the Sharks, they'll take their time here. And indeed, setting off for a bit of a jog is Fields. Goes around the far side of the ground. There's plenty of blue jerseys there. Ball comes off the pack. It's picked up off the turf by Dale, and Dale sending his side further forward. Johnson was the target. In front was Richardson. There was a good hold on the jersey in there. All going inside the attacking 50 for the Sharks, but it's kicked away by Klemke. And now they turn it around once again, the Demons. Comes off the hand of Carr. Bruce can't do much with it. And so once again, the Sharks are on the attack, but I think the ball's gone out over the boundary line over there, so all that additional play is redundant. It's just taking a bit of time for the boundary umpire to get into position to throw that in, and throw it in he will do. Midway between the wing and half forward for Southport.
Sunny day, a strong crowd in here at Phillip Oval, and the canteen at Phillip doing something remarkable today. They are serving fish finger burgers. I've never seen such a thing, but I sampled one at halftime. Not too bad. Ball bounces away from Mitch Johnson. Klemke sees no need to keep it in, so we'll have a boundary throw in. A couple of metres around from the left behind post at the end that the Sharks are attacking in this final quarter. Good Friday footy here in Canberra. Chris Coleman and Eddie Williams with you on NEAFL TV as the Sharks try and hold on to this 7-point lead. The ball's thrown in. Maynard takes it out of the ruck for Canberra, gets the kick away, and it's a good kick. It's marked on the chest by Aaron Bruce. Bruce gets things moving quickly. The kick is meant for Paik. Paik can't quite bring down the mark. He has two Southport defenders there for company, and they'll come away with the footy. Tape gives the hand pass off. Now they'll look to run the wing here, Southport. No one can take a mark. The ball is picked up there and now comes to Bruce. Bruce again with a kick forwards. Paik in best position. Can't drag down the mark. It's over the boundary line, and we'll have another boundary throw in near half forward for Canberra, going to the left of screen in this quarter, looking for their first win at this venue and looking to bounce back after a loss to Redland last week.
Just get the feeling that Southport are doing it slightly more comfortably. Canberra just needs something to ignite them in this final quarter. Will it come in the next couple of minutes? Vardanica was waiting off the back of the pack. Ball is kicked in the direction of Fall. Fall chases it towards the boundary line. Plenty of Southport jerseys behind him. The ball's gone out over the boundary line once again. 7 points the margin. 8 minutes gone. I can't think of anything to match up with number 9, so we'll just wait for the ball to come back in courtesy of the umpire. Everyone's in this half of the ground now, so it really has become a game with lots of people following the ball around, waiting to see who can get the best of it. I reckon that's Ruse. It is. He gets a little hand pass away, and then a chip kick goes to a teammate. Shaw in there. Ball turns around. It was Boston. Boston's kick is cut off in its prime just outside the 50. We see now, again, several players contesting the footy. No one able to get it away clearly. Umpire comes in and balls it up. Maynard gets the tap. Charging in was Highmore in underneath, I think. Couldn't get a hold of it, and now it goes over the boundary line. So just in this holding pattern at the moment, as this game gets set to explode into the last few minutes. I just have that feeling, Eddie, it's going to get fast and furious and frantic in about 10 minutes' time if it's still close.
7-point ball game, 9 minutes gone. Anyone's game here at Phillip Oval. The ball is near Canberra's half-forward line. Richardson laid a tackle, but the ball came out to Willis for Southport. Great intercept mark on the wing there, taken... looks like it might have been Highmore. Goes inboard to Vardaniga. Can't complete the mark. Good pressure here from the Demons. Made sure they held the ball up in the middle of the ground. Appeals for holding the ball, nothing doing. Unfortunately, it looks like Vardaniga is limping from the ground, favouring one ankle. Might have hurt his right ankle perhaps there, Matt Vardaniga, as he tries to jog off the ground, and a trainer makes his way towards him. Not good news for the Demons as the ball's thrown up. Shaw tried to get a kick away, but it spilt the way of Maguire. Goes one way then the other. Kicks it towards Bruce, and Bruce protected the space. Took the mark on the chest. Goes short, down the line, finds Clark. Clark on debut, kicks for Pollock. It's knocked away from him. Southport with numbers at this contest. Willis gives the hand pass to Clark for Southport. He goes to the wing towards Shaw, who takes the mark low down. Shaw off the right foot, terrible kick, turnover. Highmore gives it to Maguire. Maguire goes short to Osborne, kick bounces on the way through, gets the hand pass off to Moline. Moline's taken high.
Jeez, he was lucky.
Bit of a let-off there for Canberra. Lucas Moline, he's got Baker loose. The ball bounces through to him as well, so the skill's not getting better in this final quarter. They've turned it over here, the Demons. Turner, his kick's not great. Roberts comes in for Canberra. He hands it back to Richardson. Goes for a bit of a run. That's a better kick. It bounces on the way through to Kanash. Kanash inside 50. Pollock takes the mark. He was pushed after he kicks. Fans in front of us want 50. But Reece Pollock will go back and have a shot on goal from just outside the 50-metre arc.
Oh, scrappy football. Canberra, I reckon they're going to be without Vardaniga for the rest of this match, by the way. Looking away, he's sitting down there on the bench.
Pollock's played on. He's gone short to Smouse, who thought about playing on as well. But he's going to go back and think about having a shot from left half forward. I reckon he's going to give it off. He thought about it. He had a lead from Osborne. He goes towards the top of the square. Bruce drags in the mark, and the captain will have a shot for his first goal.
The coach is making it difficult for both teams. They are ringing the changes there. I said Southport ran 5 changes off the bench, and Canberra ran 4.
Southport player down as well, next to the mark here. It's Mackenzie Willis. He's a bit slow getting to his feet, but he's walking away now, hands on his knees. But looks like he'll be okay as Aaron Bruce gets ready for this shot on goal.
Going to turn it into a 1-point game.
Aaron Bruce, a slow approach. Kicks from 35 and puts it through. It's a 1-point ball game at Phillip Oval. The Demons, they're 11-9, 75. The Sharks are 76. Anyone's game here at Phillip.
Well, Canberra may be doing it a little bit rough around the edges, but they're going to go all day this afternoon. No fourth quarter fade out, and that'll be delighting their fans who have turned out in numbers here this afternoon. Southport, they know they're in a fight here. 6th v 3rd. I know it's only round 3, but 6 v 3 on the ladder. Both these sides will be looking to set up a good run deep into the season. And this is what the NEAFL's all about. Good footy, tight contest. 1 point the difference, 13 minutes gone in the last quarter. That one will wind up outside the centre circle. It is. Turner didn't even have to move, and I think Maynard had given up, realising how far that one was going. So it'll come back in. Umpire tosses it up. Tap down, won by Maynard. In at the bottom of the pack was Maguire. Shows his class, gets the kick away from nothing, puts it into the path of Powell. Couple of Sharks in there, but it's Powell who ducks under the tackle, shrugs it off, puts the ball in towards full forward. It bounces left, it bounces right, and goes through for a point. And now we are all tied up with 13 and a half gone. Let's just crank it up another gear here at Phillip Oval. Southport bring the ball back into play. Every kick now becomes more important than the last. They work it up the middle of the park through Fields. Fields now goes over the far side of the ground, trying to kick it out of the air. Was Maynard for Canberra, but instead it's South Park with the ball. Fall lays the tackle, and that's got to be either high or holding the ball. The umpire goes for the first option, and it'll be a free kick for Southport, and I reckon it might be Hall who gets to take it.
I think it's Turner, the ruckman, goes off the left foot, kicks forward of the wing. Demons try to get numbers at the contest, but there's Josh Hall taking the mark. Plays on, kicks to full forward, but in a good spot for Canberra. Dale came in, Dale crumbs, Dale will run in. It's a goal to Southport, they're back in front.
He's passed that off to Johnson, I think, at the last minute, or the last millisecond. I'm not quite sure why you'd do that from so close, but obviously he had a better angle and Johnson gets the goal, and the Sharks, well, they've regained the lead, but what a game we have in prospect here. 12-10-82 for Southport. Canberra 11-10-76. And Mitch Johnson gets his second goal of the afternoon. And Southport's first at the final turn.
And this game has really gone up a notch in this final quarter. Good Friday footy, a good game of football, both sides desperate to win. Vardaniga, remarkably, appears to be ready to come back onto the ground after limping off with that ankle issue a short time ago. So good news there for Canberra fans. But his side finds itself 6 points behind midway through this final term. 15 minutes gone, ball up. One down by Turner. Smout can't bring the ball free. He was in a tussle there with Fife. Paik knocks the hand pass out to Smout. He gave it to Maguire, who fed it back to Richardson. Richardson kicks towards Fall. Sitting back to take the mark, though, is Williams. Plays on quickly to Fife. Fife, left foot kick. He's got Dale. Drops the mark. That lets Klemke in. Klemke, he's got Bruce loose. Bruce takes the mark. He can play on. He just stops. He goes inside 50. The kick is towards Maynard, the ruckman, resting at full forward. He can't take the mark, and it'll be thrown in near the right behind post for Canberra.
One straight kick the difference. Both sides have kicked more goals than behinds this afternoon as we wait for the ball to come back in. 16 minutes ticks up on the scoreboard behind the throw. Ball comes back in. Maynard and Turner, they just punch it back towards the boundary line. It was Williams who probably got the best of it. It's come free for the Demons, but it's only been cut off in the goal square. So the Sharks, they can go away with it now. There's nobody around this side of the ground and nobody at the other end. The ball's been sent forward and cut off by Baker. He's got options all over the place. Which way does he go? Goes in towards centre half forward, where the kick is taken by Smout. Smout in towards the pocket. He was looking for Hardy, but instead it was Tape who wound up with the ball. And once again, they're on the rebound, the Sharks. They move it around the far side to Fields. Fields sets. He has to wait for a few players to come past him. Then decides to come back around this side of the ground. It goes back to fullback. We've got O'Shea just on the 50-metre line. Or underneath it was Doran. Doran put the ball down, but he's been taken high. And Osborne, the man who infringes. So Southport, 6 points in front, 17 gone on the clock. Ball goes up onto the wing, and Paik gets in front, takes the mark. No need to panic just yet. Still a long way to go in this one. Maynard, the target from Paik. He can't get any contact on it. The punch comes from Clark and the ball out over the boundary line. It'll be a throw in 30 around from the Canberra goal.
And Maynard, the ruckman who was resting forward, he was the target there. He's going to do the ruck here, but we might see Canberra stay with that setup in this quarter. Paik taking the contests in the middle of the ground and Maynard rucking up forward. Took it out of the ruck, couldn't find a target with the hand pass. We'll have another ball up inside 50 for Canberra. They trail by 6 points. 17 and a half minutes played. Final quarter at Phillip Oval. Maynard preparing to go up against Turner again. It's knocked down by Maynard, spills out the back to Osborne, throws the ball on the boot, the right foot snap from Jared Osborne, levels the scores. 12-10-82 apiece at Phillip Oval.
What a time for Osborne to get his first goal of the afternoon. And we're seeing them being kicked from all over the place. And who would have thought 18 minutes gone in the final quarter, it'd be Canberra who'd kicked 3 goals in the final quarter and Southport with just 1 after a third quarter where Southport kicked 6. All tied up and time on, looming large.
There's definitely no breeze, so we can rule out any sort of wind advantage favouring the Demons in this quarter. But obviously, Cade Klemke said something at 3-quarter time. We've seen a few changes. Paik rucking mostly in this quarter. Maynard starting out of the goal square. And that seems to be working for the Demons. They're getting Maynard bringing the ball to ground inside 50 and creating shots on goal like that one to Osborne on the run. Back in the middle. Hall up against Paik in the ruck. Comes down to Smout. Owen Auburn laid a tackle. The ball's kicked forward for Southport towards Dale. He's up against Highmore. Dale feeds the hand pass off to Ford. Ford with a low ball, a good ball. And Southport with a chance to regain the lead with a shot on goal coming up to Michael Manteet.
Well, it wasn't easy. Pressure aplenty there. First, second and third efforts from both sides, but it was Highmore unable to control the pill, and now it's with Manteet.
He puts it through. Southport back in front. They've got 13, 10, 88. The Demons 12-10, 82.
Well, Southport have got 2 this quarter. Canberra have got 3.
And we spoke about the importance of the Demons stringing goals together. Southport in that previous quarter, every time the Demons scored, Southport responded. They've responded here again. They've just got Canberra at arm's length. That 6-point buffer. Behind would be handy in the next few minutes as well. Obviously a goal would be a lot better.
Well, we're now into time on. We're past the 20-minute mark, so we now get into the great mystery bag of football where you don't know how long there is left. The umpire tosses the ball up in the middle of the ground. Turner gets the best of the tap. Boston in underneath it, retrieved it, but there's Maguire dragged off the ball as he went to kick it. Play on, says the umpire. Bruce was coming in, trying to apply the tackle. Pressure was ineffective as it was Shaw, but now this ball comes out for the Demons. It was Budd who contributed to it, and he gets it back. He sends it in now. Oh, inch-perfect kick. Gets over the head of an opponent. Now it's to Pollock. He's managed to find support on the far side from Baker, who takes the shot at goal. I think it was Baker it was. He lost his footing, and it's bounced across the face of goal. I don't think they'll mind that too much somehow. They'll get another crack at it here. What have we got? Hang on. Just got an umpire putting a hand up in the air, just waiting. No, we're all good. I was just making sure there was nothing happening off the ball. Ball comes back into the field of play. Paik now into the ruck duel. Going forward is Moline. He tried to control it, but only succeeds in taking it back over the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in maybe 2 metres closer to the Canberra goals. 21 minutes and 18 seconds gone. Ball comes back in again. Rucks gets set. Turner wins it, taps it. Maybe to the advantage of Roos. Roos can't do anything with it. Teammate is set upon instantly, so umpire will bounce it now. Plenty of broken play. Umpire balls it up. The punch goes Southport's way, and it's Roos who goes for a run. His hand pass is snatched out of the air by Harry Carr. His spidey senses were going overtime. Puts the ball in towards the goal square. It's on the ground. Bruce was trying to do something with it, but they come away with it to Southport via Fields. There's some ferocious tackling for Canberra here, but Southport have got it away, and it goes to Dale on the wing.
So Southport with another chance to go forward. Dale gives it off to Shaw. Shaw, his kick is poorly directed, and it's cut off by Tom Highmore. He's been sitting back all day, Highmore, taking intercept marks. He goes to the wing as the Demons just take a few deep breaths. There's still plenty of time left in this quarter. 22 minutes gone. Jack Powell's found himself loose at half forward. He goes for a bit of a run. He kicks inside 50 in the direction of Kanash. It goes over his head. There's a pack over the ball, and the umpire will throw it up 35 metres out from the Canberra Demons goal. They trail by one straight kick as we approach 23 minutes gone in the final quarter. Good Friday footy. Ball is thrown up. It's knocked down by Paik. Comes out to Hardy. He's dispossessed. It's near the boundary line. It's over the boundary line, and the ball will be thrown in just under the electronic scoreboard, which tells us that 23 minutes have elapsed and that the Demons 12-10 trail the Sharks 13-10. Ball thrown in. Turner and Paik. Comes to the back towards Powell. Plenty of players around the footy again. And we'll get another ball up inside 50 for Canberra.
Fans edging forward on their seats in front of us here in the grandstand, and there are a couple quite literally chewing on their nails, Eddie. So everyone waiting for how this one will finish up. The ball in dispute from the throw-in. It'll now be a ball up.
Southport
free. Southport free, but blown by the umpire off the ball. So it'll be taken by Boston. So umpire tells him to play on. Canberra have gone in front just about everywhere on the field. Ball goes off hands and out over the boundary line. In the centre wing position. 24 minutes reached. Throw in to come. Southport with the advantage at the moment. Who's got more petrol in the tank? Ball comes back in. Maynard back on. Turner gets a hand on it. Ball comes out to the advantage of Southport. Tapped away by Dale. And now Ruse sends them into attack. Ball's been spilt. Canberra can pick it up and go here. They don't need to do anything silly. Keeping the ball in contest. Baker can't keep it in. Goes out over the boundary line. Far side of the ground. 24 and a half minutes gone. Still 6 points the difference. Canberra getting set to bring back some cavalry in the form of Fall and Roberts. For Southport, they've got Ford waiting. He started it all off earlier today, I think, from memory. He'd love to be out there for the finish. No one able to get anything away from the throw-in, and it'll be a ball up 10 metres or so in from the boundary line, far side of the ground. We'll wait for it to come clear and then he can pick it up and play, or we can wait for yet another bounce. So you take it over, Eddie, and see if you can break the ball out of that pack.
And these players that are waiting to come onto the ground, Ford and Willis for Southport, Fall, Roberts and Clark for the Demons, they can't get on because players stuck on that outer side. And I'm sure that the Demons would love to have someone like Tom Fall on the field, and Southport obviously would love to have Mackenzie Willis out there on the ground. As a free kick is paid here to the Sharks, this might open things up a little. They get the ball working forward. They get a mark to Johnson on the chest. Still a couple of kicks from home. Mitch Johnson directs traffic. Goes off the right foot. Demons getting back in numbers. Carr got hands to the ball. Helps picks it up. His hand pass is towards the boundary line. Demons kept the ball in play. Well done by Harry Carr. Has one bounce. Gives the hand pass to Powell. Powell goes off. It was towards Baker. Maguire came in and mopped up. He gives the hand pass to Bud. Bud running on the outer wing. Kicks it towards half forward. Bruce was going back with the flight. It was knocked away from him. And it'll be thrown in 70 metres around from the Canberra Demons goal. Not a bad result for them. They didn't have anyone further forward of the ball. This gives Aaron Bruce the opportunity to run back towards the goal square, and both sides will be looking for a quick break from this boundary throw-in. Maynard's in front of Turner, slaps it forward. It's towards Pollock. He won't get there. Hardy lays a tackle. Pollock's kept on running towards goal, but the ball goes out of play, and we'll have yet another boundary throw-in underneath that electronic scoreboard as we tick past 26 and a half minutes in this final quarter. Demons trailing by 6 points. It's thrown back in. Knocked down. Owen Orban trying to gather. Gives the hand pass off. Now a quick kick towards full forward. Bruce had to go the spoil in the end. Gets it over the boundary line, and we'll have another stoppage inside 50 for the Demons.
Well, everyone waits. The ground has gone very, very quiet here at the moment. And the ball comes back in. It's the starting ruckman. Maynard and Turner, neither of them get it. The ball on the ground. Clearing kick, I think it may have been Miller who sent it just outside the 50. Canberra need to get the ball back in fairly quickly. 27 and a half minutes looming now. They go back in almost to it from whence it came, and the punch comes from Miller over the boundary line. So at the moment we're just in a feedback loop as the ball goes around. In, up, back and out. Who can break it? Will it be the Sharks with a clearing kick? Will it be the Demons to try and level it and see if they can have enough time to win the game? Clean bowled, ball in the middle of the park. There's nobody forward of this for Southport. It comes back to Ruse. Ruse, he has one man and one man only to go for, and that's Shea. Shea has to chase it. Finally gets a good bounce. He's got not much left, being chased down by Carr. Carr goes after Williams. Williams puts the ball into the path of Johnson, and Johnson, with 28 minutes on the clock, will have the chance to seal the game here. That was always the danger, was that if Canberra couldn't convert, and I'd love to get that inside 50 number, it's got to be massively in favour rather, of Canberra this afternoon.
63-38.
Wow.
Look, Mitch Johnson, very good player in this second half. 2 goals, 2 coming up for disposal number 13 here.
And you'd think whatever he does, he just has to score of some sort here. It doesn't matter whether it's a goal or a point.
Wow.
And he's put it across the face. Has it gone out on the full, or has it gone out off the hands? I think it's gone out off the hands. maybe would have been better for the Canberra Demons player to just drop the hands a little bit and let that go. Canberra, well, they've got to go coast to coast, and they've got to do it quickly. 29 minutes gone. Ball coming in at the far end of the ground for them.
Boundary throw in. Turner. Massive pack around the ball here inside 50. The footy's not coming out. We'll have a throw up. It's 20 metres, 25 metres out from Southport's goal. Any score here would make life very difficult for the Canberra Demons. The Demons need to get the ball out of this area very, very quickly. It's picked up by Highmore. He gives the hand pass off. Now it comes through to Baker. Baker goes with a high ball. Dangerous kick. Fall! Made the kick look a lot better than it was. No. Tom Fall not paid the mark. Southport mark. Umpire says man in front. And a chance for the Sharks to take a few seconds off the clock as we tick up to nearly 30 minutes played in this final quarter. The kick comes to the hot spot, and Highmore again with the intercept. So perhaps one last roll of the dice from the Demons as Tom Highmore gets ready to unload from the back pocket. He goes with a long kick through the hands of Hardy. Falls waiting at the back. He can't gather. Demons are there in numbers. Hardy picked it up. Now the kick comes forward to Powell. Powell tried to give it off quickly but couldn't find a target. That lets the Sharks back in. They've got the footy near half back here, Southport. That was Williams. His kick was precise, and again Southport will just look to chew a bit of time off the clock. We've gone more than 30 and a half minutes.
They'll know how long there is left. They'll have a better indication than we do here in the box when the ball goes around the wing. And it's the big ruckman. Turner flies and takes the mark. Eddie in the warm-up said you'll be able to tell Turner all day he's got one sock up and one sock down. He's played that all day too. I thought he would have pulled the left one up. Ball goes inside the forward 50 for the Sharks, and the Demons, they repel it. This will be about the last chance you'd imagine for Canberra. Manteet flies, sends the ball away from the Demons player underneath. Maybe Kanashi was waiting for it. Goes over the boundary line. Throw in. 31 minutes gone. 6 points the difference. Maynard gets the best of it. Into the path of, I reckon it may have been Maguire, and then he found Baker. They go into towards the forward line, but there's too many jumpers there. Now the umpire's called that touched and said play on. Suddenly the ball's inside the forward 50 for the Canberra Demons. It rolls over the boundary line. They're going to get maybe one last shot to steal a draw here. I can't see a way they can win it, Eddie. But they might get one more chance here. We don't know how long there is left. The ball's 48 metres from their goal. Have they got enough to lift and take last year's premiers to a tied game? Eddie Williams, bring it home.
Can't be long to go. We've played nearly 32 minutes in the final quarter. Even the boundary umpires are starting to tire. That's a decent throw-in. Knocked away by Turner. Comes to Moline. Moline's wrapped up. The ball spills free. Southport works it towards the boundary line. The Demons keep it in play. Here comes Canberra again. One last chance inside 50. It's over the head of Pollock. Southport get the ball out, and Mackenzie Willis takes the mark, and he says, let's slow things down. He kicks it out towards the boundary line. 32 minutes and 22 seconds played in the final quarter. Southport will just look to run down the clock. They've got the ball between wing and halfback, and they're holding on to a 6-point lead as they drive the ball towards half forward. Highmore's in best position again. Stood in front. There's the siren. And it's a very good Friday for Southport. They hold on for a 6-point win. The Sharks, 13-10, 88. Just over the Canberra Demons, 12-10, 82. A cracking game of footy on Good Friday at Phillip Oval.
Well, I had the feeling at three-quarter time, Eddie, that Southport would only need a couple of goals in the last quarter to put it on ice, and that's all they got. 2 goals and 2 behinds. Canberra, what did I say, 4 or 5 goals they'd need? 4 would have tied it, 5 would have won it. So, look, the game playing out in the end, as I think many people expected. These two sides are going to be right in this NEAFL competition at the end of the year. But what a game we've seen this afternoon. We had multiple lead changes across the course of the day. Canberra are up by 4 goals early in proceedings. 33-9 it was at quarter time. Sorry, 19. 33-19 at three-quarter time. But Southport, they stole the lead in the third quarter. We've seen multiple lead changes. And in the end, it's the visitors who've got up. That's their 3rd win in a row over this Canberra Demons side. And Southport Southport will be well and truly near the pointy end of the NEAFL ladder after this Easter weekend.
3 wins in a row for the reigning premiers. Southport, an impressive performance by them. Mitch Johnson, very good in the second half, kicked a couple of goals. Charles Ford was good early with 2 goals as well. Jamison Shea also kicking 2. From a Canberra perspective, they'll be disappointed to have lost, no doubt, but after a 10-goal defeat at the hands of Redland last week, a much improved performance from the Canberra Demons, and something that Cade Klemke and his side can certainly build on.
The inside 50s went Canberra's way 65-41. That's something they really do need to address, is the accuracy at the attacking end of the ground. Hit-outs went Southport's way in the end, 54-35, and that was almost level midway through the third quarter. It remains the big issue for this Canberra side. They just need another ruckman. They don't grow on trees, I appreciate that, but they do need someone in that role to take some of the pressure off Maynard. Greatest of respect to Paik, but Maynard needs some more support, some more qualified support in there. A couple of the leading disposal getters very quickly. Ruse 31 for the Southport side, 17 of those were by foot. Shaw 20 kicks in his 30 disposals today. Murdoch and Willis both with 13 and 12, totalling up to 25, and Boston had 9 kicks and 16 hand passes also for 25. For the home side, Baker had 29 disposals, 21 of those were kicks. Smout 14 and 14 for 28, Maguire 13 and 12 for 25, and Budd had 11 kicks, 10 hand passes for 21 disposals on the day. You've gone through the goal scorers, haven't you, Eddie?
All the major ones, and a couple each for Paik, Fall, Hardy and Kanash for the Canberra Demons. Probably Adam Kanash's best game in his start to his Canberra Demons career. Southport now have a week off. They're on the bye next week before they travel to Blacktown the following week to take on Sydney Uni. And the Demons play Sydney Uni next week, midday next Saturday, up at Henson Park.
Saw that Sydney Uni side in action last week. They gave the Northern Territory a thunder and an almighty lesson, and Sydney Uni are getting the week off this week. So Canberra, they'll be coming up against a confident and fresh Sydney Uni side, but that is a challenge for them for next week. I'm looking forward to seeing these two sides clash again before the end of this season, because if future clashes are anything like what we've had today, we are in for a very, very good season of footy. And the fans showing their appreciation for the home side, vanquished but not shamed this afternoon. They've really bounced back, and they've got plenty more to show for season 2019.
So, full-time Good Friday football at Phillip Oval. The Southport Sharks with a 6-point win. They've beaten the Demons 13-10-88 to 12-10-82. Look forward to your company on NEAFL TV very soon. Eddie Williams and Chris Coleman signing off from Phillip Oval.